report it, change all of your passwords, and do not engage with the sender, according to the Postal Service. All right, your weather for today. Partly cloudy, warm and humid. An isolated pop-up shower or storms possible. Afternoon highs around 90. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast, your 5-day forecast, in fact, coming up at 12:05 with WSP meteorologist Christina Edwards. Update on a traffic tie-up that we were covering on Atlanta's Morning News. We have now learned it was a motorcycle and a car, and the motorcyclist was killed in that accident this morning. It happened just after 7 on I-85 north of Lindbergh Drive. According to the State Patrol, the driver of the motorcycle was following too closely behind a Honda. When that Honda put on the brakes while merging onto 85, the motorcycle slammed into the back of the vehicle. The motorcyclist was thrown from the bike, pronounced dead at the scene. That person's name has not yet been released. Happening now in Washington.
Under the previous order, the Senate will resume consideration of H.R. 1, which the clerk will report.
Voting underway today on the president's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock among those planning to vote against it, telling colleagues on the Senate floor,
I submit that a budget is not just a fiscal document. A budget is a moral document. Show me your budget and I'll show you who you think matters and who doesn't.
Warnock says he's worried about potential cuts to programs that benefit seniors and children as well as rural hospitals here in Georgia. He says those hospitals would have to live on, quote, scraps under the current spending plan. Now, the president is pressuring his party to pass the sweeping tax cuts and spending package in time for him to sign it on July 4th. We'll be watching. The Trump administration has wrapped up its investigation into Harvard, and Stacey Lynn has more from Washington.
The federal task force concluded that the university failed to protect Jewish students from harassment and is now threatening to cut all federal funding if it fails to take action. In a letter, it said the school violated civil rights laws requiring colleges to protect students from discrimination based on race or national origin.
Canada is scrapping plans to collect a digital services tax targeting U.S. technology firms. This after President Trump said that the U.S. was ending all trade talks because of the tax. Canada's finance ministry saying Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and President Trump will resume trade negotiations in order to agree on a deal by July 21st. Well, the demolition of the old Atlanta Medical Center is set to begin in just a couple of hours from now.
As the medical center comes down, there are plans to put up a mixed-use development in its place. However, several residents in the area are concerned that there are no plans to put up any other medical facilities. Tom Boyle, president of the Old Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association, says overall, things are looking good.
The plans that are in place obviously are conceptual. There's a lot that can go on between now and when people start living and working there. But we're excited about the plans at a very high level.
He tells WSB it's an important development for a very important part of the city. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
Jury deliberations underway at the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial. The 55-year-old facing a possible sentence of life in prison if convicted of the most serious charges. Check back for updates. And Home Depot announcing a major deal to acquire a specialty building products distributor. The Atlanta-based Home Depot saying one of its subsidiaries will buy GMS Incorporated, which distributes everything from drywall to steel framing. The deal between SRS Distribution and GMS will create a network of more than 1,200 locations and a fleet of more than 8,000 trucks. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 159 at 43,979. NASDAQ is currently up as well, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour Traffic Center. He joins us now with a look at your roads.
Still jammed up through Lithonia, Sabrina, with this left lane crash. I-20 westbound, Panola Road, exit 71. The brake lights find you right around Evans Mill Road as you try to make your way through the big work zone over there in DeKalb. Elsewhere, the crash is off to the right, 85 southbound before 17th Street and the ramp to I-75 north. The delays are gone on 85 southbound, but with it off to the right there, it's right at the end of the Beaver Spring Connector on-ramp to 85 south, so the Beaver Spring Connector still feeling the pinch back to Sidney Marcus Boulevard, and still got the right lane construction down by the airport, 285 eastbound, the outer loop Riverdale Road, exit number 60. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
And it's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official air conditioning of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Partly cloudy, warm and muggy today, high near 90. An isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm through the afternoon. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, a cold front moving through the metro region, sparking up scattered rain showers and thunderstorms through the morning hours and into the afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 85. The cold front will be south of our area by Wednesday, so drying out out, partly cloudy, high 89. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 91. And sunshine for Independence Day on Friday, morning low 71, afternoon high 92.
We'll have more news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. Delighted to have you with me today. The phone number 877-973-7425. If you want to be on the program, I just got to start the show with what are we doing here? What are we doing in the Senate? I realize by virtue of it being Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act and the Senate coming on board, we're supposed to be cheering it on. This is not good legislation. It's just objectively not good legislation. We are at $37 trillion in national debt. The Senate will up the debt ceiling by $5 trillion, putting us above $40 trillion in national debt. And the talking point from Senator Lindsey Graham, who's in charge of the Budget Committee, that it actually reduces the deficit by $500 some odd billion is an accounting gimmick. It's not real. Let me explain this to you in rudimentary terms. How many days are there in a year? 365, 366 in a leap year. Well, how many days are left in this year? Hang on, I'm going to get the number for you. How many days are left in this year? There are 184 days left in this year. Now, if I asked you instead of how many days are there in this year, you said 365. And I said, no, starting from today. Well, there are 184 days left in the year. And what Congress is essentially doing, the way it's saying that this reduces the budget is by saying there are 184 days in the year because they're picking a start date. What Lindsey Graham is doing to say that this legislation actually reduces the budget deficit is an accounting gimmick, and he's basically using a standard that presumes that everything from that they undid in the last reconciliation package comes undone in January. And now let's presume that we're able to fix it all, and let's tinker with the numbers, and we get, we're actually saving money. They're doing it. It is an accounting gimmick. It's not real savings. It actually adds another $3.5 trillion in national debt. And here's the way in their accounting gimmick, they say it actually reduces the debt, is they spend all the money today and say we'll actually save money tomorrow. We're going to spend lots of money today, and tomorrow we're going to save money. And as a result of all the savings tomorrow, today we're going to show you we're saving money. That's the accounting, another accounting gimmick they're doing. It's not just when they're setting the start date of the savings. It's by saying, well, yes, we're going to throw a lot of money at a lot of people today, but tomorrow we're going to take money from other people. And here's the problem. Tomorrow is actually 5 years from now, and by then we will have gone through 2 more Congresses, and they will say, we're actually not going to do that. We're going to do something else. It's all a sleight of hand to get the seals to clap and say, we're saving money. Yay, this is a good one. Big, beautiful bill. Like the no tax on tips thing, it sounds good, but it's actually terrible policy. How do you implement it? You can't implement it well without growing the IRS. We don't want to grow the IRS. No taxes on overtime, and it's all means tested as well. It's only for the middle class. And again, it sounds fantastic, but the implementation of it it's ripe for abuse. It's not good public policy when you have a $37 trillion national debt. The only saving grace for the legislation, the only one, is that if we don't pass something, taxes go up in January. And so if you told me, Erickson, what would you rather do? Yeah, I'd rather pass the bill than have taxes go up on everybody. But I can't bring myself to cheer it, and I can't bring myself to lie about it because it's bad legislation. They could have done better. The problem is, though, that they're held hostage on all sides in this legislation. They're held hostage by the blue state Democrats who insist that they have to have the SALT deduction. And where are they saving? At least they're cutting some student loans, which is good. They're cutting a lot of Joe Biden's Green New Deal, but not enough. And they are restructuring Medicaid. They're making it virtually impossible. And this I support. Contrary to the hysteric claims of many, this I actually support. They are restructuring Medicaid so it will be virtually impossible for a single person with no children who is in their 20s or early 30s without disability and is not taking care of a loved one to get Medicaid. There actually are, and I did not know this. I actually learned something through this debate. There is a sizable population of Americans who are full-time caretakers for another person in their family, and as a result, they qualify for Medicaid. They are so busy taking care of a special needs loved one, typically it's a parent, that they can't have a job. They cannot afford to have someone to look after their parents, so it's become their full-time job. And the government gives those people Medicaid. And I honestly, as a Christian and as a conservative, I don't have a problem with it because meeting the parameters of it, essentially there's no one else to take care of your parent. Your parent is completely disabled. You can't afford permanent help, nor can you afford to park your parent in a home, so you have to be the one who takes care of your parent. I'm okay with the government helping you cover your own medical needs because you are taking care of someone instead of the government taking care of that person completely. Call me too compassionate. I just think it's the compassionate thing to do. But if you're an able-bodied person in your 20s, you don't have kids, you're not taking care of a disabled person, you're just living in your parents' basement, go find a job somewhere. Take care of your own medical needs. Now, what the government is doing is that if you are busting your butt and you're still not making ends meet, they will allow you for Medicaid. But the way the media covers this is a massive cut in Medicaid. I'm sorry. We're at $37 trillion in debt. I think if you're an able-bodied person in your 20s or 30s and you're not working, a great incentive to get you to work is the government's going to make you pay for your own health care unless you go out and find a job. And contrary to the mythology of some, this isn't an attack on the working class because if you are working under this legislation, if you are working and you're still struggling, the government will help you. One of the ways the Republicans have decided to deal with this issue, though, and it does negatively impact the working class, is you're going to have a lot more paperwork. They're essentially decided with the Medicaid fixes to nickel and dime you, so you've got to constantly file paperwork with the government showing that you need it, that it was legitimate, that you got a good job, on and on and on and on and on. But I don't have a problem with that, to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with making people show they qualify. Look at the money we shelled out during COVID that people got taken advantage of. Just look at the money from people that they were stealing money from the government in large part because there was no accountability, there was no paperwork filing, and the government had to retroactively go in and examine it and said, "Oh, look, it looks like we were being stolen from." If you got the morning briefing, I put it together. By the way, I have not fired Philip. His wife, about an hour ago, gave birth. He is off this week. Congratulations to them on their second child. I put it together myself, and there's a link in there to the New York Times piece. And as I said in the show notes today, you got to be careful with this because it is the New York Times interpreting the way the GOP is doing this. But where do they get the numbers from? They get the numbers from the Republican plan. So, for example, the defunding Planned Parenthood. They will save some money from defunding Planned Parenthood. They're going to eliminate Medicare coverage for long-term care for people in houses worth more than $1 million, and that's going to save some billions of dollars. They're gutting $2.6 billion in gender transition care. They're reducing how long Medicaid will pay beneficiary medical bills from before people sign up from 3 months to 1 month. That's going to save $4.2 billion. Means you're going to have to constantly refile paperwork, and they believe that a lot of people aren't going to constantly refile that paperwork, and that'll save them $4 billion. They're restructuring a lot of payments that states get. Now, you see, here's the thing. A lot of states decided to expand Medicaid because of Obamacare. Republican states did not. Democrat states did. And Republicans are essentially saying, and they've changed the language to comply with Senate parliamentarian, that those of you states who expanded Medicaid, your good times are over. You're going to have to find more state money to cover your Medicaid expenses because we're not at the federal level doing this. Republican states, very few of them expanded Medicaid. This is Democratic states. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem at all with that. And the people who are lighting their hair on fire over hurting the working class, y'all, I'm sorry, but someone who is working class who's actually not working, they're in their parents' basement, I got very little sympathy for you when there are plenty of jobs available in America. You may not like the job, but a job is good for you. Sitting at home on your hands, not doing anything is bad for you. So go get a job. My problem is that the way it's structured, they're not doing enough. They're not cutting enough. But also, like the Democrats, the Republicans are picking winners and losers. I wish the government would get out of the business of picking winners and losers altogether, because they always wind up picking winners who ultimately aren't winners worth picking. You know, the Democrats did this with the solar panel farm with Solyndra, and then Joe Biden gave even more money to solar panel farms in his Inflation Reduction Act that amounted to the Green New Deal. The Republicans are rolling a lot of that money back, but they're picking winners and losers too. Elon Musk is decrying the legislation. He says it's bad. He's right. But also, Elon Musk stands to lose from the legislation because they're getting rid of a lot of the green subsidies that Elon Musk liked. But he's right. This is a boondoggle, and it raises the national debt. It increases government spending in other areas. It uses accounting gimmicks to claim it's saving money. But at the end of the day, yeah, if we don't do this, taxes go up next year. That's why I resent it so much. They have structured this in this way for us to be resentful. And I'm just not going to go out there and cheerlead this legislation and claim for you this legislation is good and claim for you it's going to do what they claim that it's going to do, because it's not. It's going to make the fiscal health of this country even worse. But if it doesn't pass, we're going to get tax increases in January, and that's going to push us into a recession. At least with this, we may actually be able to offset some of the costs of the tariffs by passing this legislation. If we don't pass the legislation, in addition to tariffs and tax increases next year, that puts us probably in a recession by the time of the midterms. So Republicans, if you're going to go out there and you're going to sell this, at least sell the no tax on tips. I think it's a terrible public policy idea, but Donald Trump wanted it. It's a promise made. It's a promise kept. So go make sure people know no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, because the Democrats right now are defining the legislation for you. The Democrats are defining it against you with the help of the media. And I'm sorry. I'm struggling to lift a finger to support legislation that's going to just ensure our insolvency. But hey, on the upside, we're not going to get tax increases in January. So yippee.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news in Lithonia. The crash cleared out of the left lane. I-20 westbound, Panola Road, exit 71. So those delays from Evans Mill will start to improve. Just hang in there. If you're stuck on I-20 westbound, it's about to get better. Also, Beaver Spring Connector southbound has improved from Sidney Marcus Boulevard for the merge onto I-85 southbound with a crash off to the right there. We're also seeing a tap of the brakes. 285 westbound, the outer loop. That new long collector distributor ramp that takes you toward Roswell Road might be some construction there. And right lane construction by the airport. 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Riverdale Road. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Coming up Tuesday on Atlanta's Morning News, Christina Edwards' 5-day forecast help you make those fireworks plans for the 4th. The traffic team will help you around any issues. And now Clark Howard says you can ensure you're paying the right price at the register. It all starts at 5 a.m. on 95.5 WSB.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It's Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home, and boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 five-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 12 packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Canada Dry. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, y'all, it's Eric Erickson here. Do you know the difference between strategy and tactics? As somebody ran campaigns, I always find people sometimes they engage in tactics. We steer the ship left and then right, starboard, port, left, right, slow down, speed up. But do you make sense of it? The strategy is the overall picture of how you want to accomplish your goal. And then the tactics are the individual things you do to accomplish the strategy to meet your goal. And when you're dealing with your retirement, you need a financial advisor who understands that. That's David Nicholas, Nicholas Wealth Management. My wife and I actually sat down with David and mapped out our goals for the future and our retirement and realized that we had engaged in a series of tactics, but we really didn't have a comprehensive overall strategy that made it work. You want a comprehensive overall strategy so that when you hit retirement, well, you've met your goals. And David Nicholas can help you do that. You sit down with David today, and he can give you a free wealth analysis. Christy and I did this with him. You can do this with him, and you're going to get a strategy. You're not just going to have a financial advisor who's deploying a bunch of tactics without the overall strategy to get you to meet your goal. Talk to David and his team at nicholaswealth.com. Call them at 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth Management is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and particular needs of any person who listens to this show. Eric Erickson is a current client and is paid for this ad.
No one in Georgia treats more kids with cancer and blood disorders, and no one in the Southeast is doing more to advance pediatric cancer research. The Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Center of Children's Healthcare of Atlanta cares for thousands of patients each year and offers access to hundreds of clinical trials to kids whose survival depends on new treatment. Listen July 24th and 25th to the 25th annual 95.5 WSB Carathon and support research to find cures. Visit choa.org/carathon to make a donation today.
Hi, it's Mark Beckham with Atlanta Ramjack. Bigger isn't always better. Don't let the big companies fool you. Atlanta Ramjack is the leader in foundation repair. Whether it's residential or commercial, Ramjack is the most reliable, technically capable company in the business. Our staff has the most experience in solving difficult foundation problems. No one can match our expertise in foundation repair. Ramjack fixes the issues other companies can't. Go to AtlantaRamjack.com to set up your free estimate.
Pro athletes and attorneys count on George Stein, the DUI lawyer. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler. George Stein has been a personal and professional friend for decades. He literally wrote the book on DUI defense in Georgia. I trust him, and you can too. GeorgeStein.com.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Want to be on the show? Come on, be on the show. Call Eric now at 877-973-7425.
Another big win for Donald Trump. The media begrudgingly haven't given credit for it. The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said late on Sunday night talks with the United States would resume. Canada has decided to get rid of its digital services tax on American industries. If you will recall, on Friday, the markets were roaring. And then about 1:30 to 2 o'clock Friday afternoon, Donald Trump said, deals off with Canada. No trade talks. Canada wants to do a digital services tax on the United States. We will not tolerate it. It's a bad idea. The Europeans are trying as well. Trade talks off. Well, Sunday night late, I got the Bloomberg alert, sometime after 11 o'clock last night, the Canadian Prime Minister saying, hey, as a matter of fact, we actually are now going to get rid of our digital services tax, and we will not tax American businesses. And, yeah, big win for Donald Trump. A big win for Donald Trump, and you will notice that while there's some press coverage that the Canadians have decided to abandon the digital service tax, there actually isn't a lot of coverage to note that this is a singularly big win for the President of the United States, who has been pushing this very, very hard. It's just, I find it intriguing that if Joe Biden were president and something like this happened, the media would do this. Now, you and I know enough about double standards. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but it's the press corps that just insists that it's not biased. It is Peter Baker. I had to go after this guy on line this weekend. He's a New York Times reporter. He had the audacity to tweet, the Supreme Court, its ruling against universal injunctions, has the audacity to declare that only the Supreme Court can impose its will nationwide among all the courts. Like, yes, that's the way the founders intended it, you idiot. How these people, it is, what is it, the Meinhof, Bernie Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Bernie Bader-Meinhof, according to is that the right one? Michael Crichton, his friend who saw a story in the paper, knew the people were idiots, knew it was wrong because he was an expert, and it's like, this is what the media does. If you're not an expert, you read the media, you think they're right, and they're never right. They're idiots. They are. Now, don't beat it. Go to EdenPureDeals.com today and get the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm is an air purifier. It's filterless. You don't have to get a filter subscription to use this thing. It's small. You can hold it in your hand. You can get 3 of them and save $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, and they will wipe out the odors in your home. They will wipe out the odors wherever you are. They're fantastic devices. You can put it in your travel bag. You get one for upstairs, your downstairs, your basement, wherever you need them. They generate ozone. The ozone latches on to ionized odor particles. It wipes out those particles, and it takes out every odor, litter box odors, dirty diaper odors, smoke odors, you name it. It also gets rid of dust, pollen. It kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com.
Topical.
Basically, the text of the email reads like this.
Local.
Someone bought a car with my credit, and someone tried to file a tax return.
Mark Aram.
I'm a simple man with simple needs.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic,
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk. It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. A second person dies from a shooting over the weekend at Cone Park in southeast Atlanta. 33-year-old Anthony Pearson died when he was shot in the head in Saturday's shooting during his fraternity's community picnic. The shooter, identified by the medical examiner as Justin Minetti, died from multiple gunshots. Witnesses say he opened fire after an argument. Your weather for today: partly cloudy, warm and humid, and isolated pop-up showers possible and a high around 90 this afternoon, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. All right, if you get a package that you did not order and it says it's a gift, just give an online review. The Postal Service says beware. It's called brushing, and it could mean your personal information may have already been compromised. So you are being urged to never scan any QR codes on anything sent to you that you did not order. You want to change your password if you've gotten one of these packages, and do not interact with the sender, says the Postal Service. A marathon voting session happening now in the Senate as it holds a vote on President Trump's big, beautiful bill. It remains to be seen if Republicans have enough votes to get the massive tax and spending package on the president's desk by the self-imposed July 4th deadline. And there is a bologna recall. More than 140,000 pounds of bologna products from Geysers, a wholesaler out of New Jersey, is under recall today because of mislabeling. These products, produced between March 20th and June 20th, contain meat or poultry source material that is not declared on the product's labels. You can take them back for a refund. As we take a look at the markets, the Dow right now is up 149 at 43,968. NASDAQ also in the green, so is the S&P. It's 12:32.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handle everything: house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof. And their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. People often ask me why our mattresses last so long. The answer is simple: we build them right. Not only are OMF mattresses durable, they give you peace of mind from day one. When you invest in a mattress from OMF, you're investing in better sleep tonight and smart savings for years to come. No more frequent replacements, no more wasted time shopping. To learn more about the true value of durability, visit originalmattress.com and read our latest blog on getting the most from your mattress investment.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
We've all got one, and there's never just one thing on it. Your home improvement to-do list. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus covers everything on your list: siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the owner of Painting Plus. We do it all, and we do it right. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Better news in Lithonia. That crash is gone. 20 westbound Panola Road, exit 71. Now just on and off the brakes from the mall at Stonecrest through the work zone over to I-285. Also tapping the brakes, 285 westbound, the outer loop out of Sandy Springs, heading over to Truist Park from Riverside Drive to I-75, exit 20. And if you brake lights in Midtown, 75-85 south from 17th Street down toward North Avenue. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy today with a few pop-up storms, high near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms throughout the morning and the afternoon. Tomorrow's high is 85, partly cloudy on Wednesday, high 89.
83 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Conservative commentary.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. If you wish to be on the program, a lot of people headed out this week across the nation. We got wild weather all over the nation. So, my kids, interestingly enough, my daughter in particular has found this new thing, live streaming the Storm Chasers on YouTube. In fact, she sent me a link. When was it? Friday night. Some couple in South Dakota chasing this massive tornado. And I got to admit, it was mesmerizing. It was absolutely mesmerizing to watch these idiots chase this tornado. And at some point, you just start rooting for the tornado. Oh, go back in the other. No. They're right there. Move there. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. All right. Let's see here. I'm going to go to John before I move on. Welcome to the show, John. How are you?
Good, Eric. How are you doing today?
Great.
So I'm understanding if the CEO is saying it's like approximately $3.5 trillion debt over the next 10 years, and my understanding is, of course, they're going to pass a budget every year, so that's not a real number. What are they proposing for the yearly debts for the next 3 years?
Okay, so that is great. Great question. Now, here's the thing, is they don't pass a budget every year. They haven't passed a budget since Barack Obama was president. That's part of the problem here.
Okay.
Is what they do is they pass instead what's called a continuing resolution, where they take the last time they passed a budget, which was when Obama was president, and they make adjustments to that budget framework to continue the funding of the government based on that framework. And then they continue to do that. And so they don't really cut anything. So what is the budget deficit? Every year now, they're adding about $2 trillion to the national debt. And now, bear with me here. This is where it gets confusing. And again, keep in mind, John, they're doing accounting gimmicks. What they say is that this legislation will add $3.5 trillion to the national debt over the next 10 years. But that's this legislation. It's separate from the continuing resolution. So every year there's about $1.5 trillion shortfall. That $1.5 trillion shortfall each year is called the deficit. If the money is not made up by the end of the year, the deficit rolls over into the national debt. So this legislation adds $3.5 trillion to the national debt, which they're saying is a good thing because otherwise we were going to have $7 trillion in debt. So we've reduced it. Therefore, it's good for the national debt. But it's a gimmick. This is all a gimmick. And this is the thing. Washington budget math is so complicated. It's why we got to wrap our heads around this, that this legislation adds $3.5 trillion to the national debt. This is about the permanent spending in Washington. The continuing resolution is about the discretionary spending in Washington. So this only adds $3.5 trillion over the next 10 years. The continuing resolution adds even more. The continuing resolution can be filibustered, but the Democrats tend to continue the continuing resolution because it's based on a budget that they came up with when Obama was president. That's why this is all smoke and mirrors, because you're actually looking at two different things. You have a reconciliation package that handles the non-discretionary spending of Washington. That is entitlements and interest on the debt, and then the big buckets, the defense budget, the ag budget, all those. The continuing resolution is the individual items within those buckets. So not the defense budget, we're going to spend $2 trillion on defense, But what is that $2 trillion going to go to in the defense budget? That's the continuing resolution. And hey, by the way, if they decide to raise it, they raise it. And you can't stop them. It's all a bunch of gimmicks. That's the problem. Joe, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I love your program.
Thank you.
I've been listening for many, many years, and I do have all of the Eden Pure Thunderstorm filters. I have all.
They work, don't they?
Yes, they do, and I even have the large one, the one that sits on a desk that you plug in.
Oh,
I
okay.
even have
It's
that.
funny you should say that, and I know this isn't why you're calling, Joe, but I went to my
No, that's
wife's
not
favorite
why.
Japanese restaurant last night, and they had one of the. I didn't even know they made those. They were big, and they're like, yeah, we use it in the hibachi restaurant. It's like excellent.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah,
in any event.
they were. But I just thought I'd give you a plug on that one. I have the even the ozone and the whatever the other dual, whatever they call it. What I see, and even though I'm blind, I work. I get up every morning. I go to work. I'm off this week. We have a week off. I work in manufacturing. We make clothing for the military. That's what we make. No, there are no blind people making your bombs. We're doing clothes. That's a little safer. Anyway, but I don't understand. I get up every morning. I go to work. I love applying myself. I love to do. We're going to have to address these entitlement programs, and some feelings are going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. You can't help everybody. It's not our job to take care of everyone. I know people who are on Social Security disability who don't need to be. I know them. I know them personally, and I don't quite get it. And eventually we're going to have to address the entitlement programs, and what I'm talking about is Social Security, is Medicare, is Medicaid. And I'm on a little bit of Medicaid, I'll admit, but I also get up and I go to work, and I think it's, I think that people need to get out there and apply and do. I meet people who are suffering with depression, and depression is very bad, but I also tell them that maybe if you get up and go to work and apply and do something for yourself, your depression will get better and you'll feel better about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have to say. But go on.
Joe, listen. First of all, I admire you. You're blind. You have a job. I mean, this is exactly why the social safety nets are supposed to exist. We don't use the language anymore. In fact, I used it the other day on Twitter and got lit on fire by people. But, up until the 1960s and Lyndon Johnson's Great Society program, if you go back even to the speeches of Franklin Delano Roosevelt when he came up with these programs, he referred to the deserving poor. And what he meant by that is the poor who go to work, they have a disability, but they're contributing to society, but because of their disability or background, they can't make ends meet enough to get health care. We should, as a government, step in and do that. Now, Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s with the Great Society said we should get away from the terminology of why should the government say who's deserving and not deserving. And Democrats fell in line. But I got to tell you, there's a difference, I think, between you who is blind going to work, needing some supplemental governmental health care, and someone who's sitting in their parents' basement playing video games because, well, I'm not going to go work at McDonald's, so I would rather sit here and play video games. And why should we be incentivizing that behavior? That frustrates me.
I wish I could go work at McDonald's and make more money, but McDonald's, because of liability issues, won't hire a blind person. That's just the way it is. That's
right.
Just so I work at a place for blind people that we don't make the best of wages. That's another subject, but I do get up, and I love actually going to work. I couldn't sit home all day and do nothing. And while I'm at work, I get to listen to your program. So I can't call in while I'm at work, but we're off this week. So
I appreciate it. And
I don't think my boss would like I'm talking to Eric Erickson. You don't mind, do you?
Joe, I will tell you, though, I mean, given the way people drive in Atlanta, if you ever want to come to Atlanta and be a taxi driver, you'd probably be the safest man on the road.
Yeah, well, they do have self-driving taxis, and I could sit in the passenger seat and just monitor. But I love your program. I love the Eden Pure. I like all your – I don't deal with Old Glory Bank because I'm not the best at internet, so I do
No,
it with my
I
own
totally
personal.
get that. But listen, Joe, thank you very much for listening, and God bless you for being out there working. Y'all, I don't mean to use it as an offensive phrase, and it shouldn't be, but we got to be able to distinguish between the people who, like Joe, he's blind, he's got a job, he's got Medicaid to help him, versus the kid who refuses to work because he's too good for the job that was offered. If you're not working and you want governmental benefits and you're perfectly fine, I don't have a problem with government saying we're not going to give you Medicaid. I'm a conservative. I'm not a libertarian. I believe there are people that we as a society should help because I think that's what good people and good societies do. We help those who deserve to be helped, not just individually, but through our tax dollars. There are a lot of people who would otherwise fall through the social safety net, and I think that FDR made a good comparison between the deserving poor and the undeserving. Those who are poor by virtue of their unwillingness to participate in society, and those who are poor even though they're willing to participate in society. And I think we got to get back to that language. Now, something else that we have to keep in mind here, too, is that there actually is a fallout from all of this big, beautiful Bill Act stuff. Tom Tillis is now not running for re-election in North Carolina. I got to tell you, so I did my kickoff event this year was at WEEB up in Southern Pines. We were in Aberdeen, North Carolina. God's country, if ever there was God's country. It was gorgeous up there. The people were fantastic. Southern Pines and Pinehurst, absolutely stunning. At some point, I'm going to go hit golf balls in Pinehurst. Wonderful people and a wonderful time. I did an event, hundreds of people there. Not a single one of them in North Carolina had a good thing to say about Tom Tillis. Not a single person. They were all ready to primary him, and now they won't have to. Now, the question is, they got to get it right. Because last time everybody rushed for Mark Robinson, and he turned out to be a real clunker, and that was even before the porn scandal. And they got to find a good nominee, whether it's Pat Haggerty or somebody, to run against Roy Cooper. Tom Tillis is on his way out. Now, here's the thing. Tom Tillis is now out. Mitch McConnell is not running. That's two Republican senators who now could not care less what Donald Trump says about them. Add in Lisa Murkowski, who has flirted with being a Democrat. Add in Susan Collins. It helps Susan Collins to be attacked by Donald Trump. You now no longer have a Senate majority that will give Donald Trump what he wants. Whether you like it or not, and many of you won't, the way the Senate is structured is to make them unbeholden to the president. A third of them are going to outlast Donald Trump. They won't be up for re-election until 2030. Donald Trump will be gone in 2028. They don't really care about Donald Trump. It is 2025. They're not even on the ballot again until November of 2026 or of 2030. And then you've got these other Republicans who are retiring. They could not care less what Donald Trump thinks. And now Donald Trump's got 4 Republican senators who they don't care what Donald Trump thinks. He's got to be careful here. He can't bully these senators anymore to get his stuff through. You got to be careful here. You got to be careful. All right. Now, I got to tell you, this is a great week to remind you to go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. If you go to ericforhillsdale.com, you can sign up. They've got some great classes on the founding of the American Republic, and they're free. This is a great week to take those classes. You do them at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion when you're done, and they remind you about the genius of the United States. ericforhillsdale.com. Cannot recommend them enough. The classes are great. The professors are great. You do it at your own pace. You never pay a penny. And then there's so many more classes to choose from on religion, on politics, on economics, on chemistry, on philosophy, on literature. There's a great class on C.S. Lewis. There's one on Shakespeare. There's one on the literature and theology of Genesis. They're just really good classes. But this week with American history, the classes on the Constitution of the early American Republic, they're all there. They're all free. You do them at your own pace. You get a certificate of completion. Eric, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today at ericforhillsdale.com and let Hillsdale College educate you. It's not indoctrination. It's education. and you don't pay a penny.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Watching a little bit of volume through Marietta on I-75 southbound as you leave South Marietta Parkway, trying to make your way down to Windy Hill, 285, the Truist Park region, mostly just bunching up in those right lanes, trying to get onto 285. Construction by the airport is cleared out of the left lane. Everything back open there, 285 eastbound, the outer loop, and Riverdale Road exit 60. Traffic brought to you by the International Hot Rod Association. Nitro's back. The IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series is lighting up the track. Nitro Nation, grab your tickets now at IHRA.com. That's IHRA.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks in Georgia, NASA confirms the bright fireball spotted in the sky was indeed a meteorite across the U.S.
The court just ruled parents can opt their kids out of LGBTQ-themed instruction.
and around the world.
The president says he thinks Iran is done trying to create a nuclear weapon.
We've got it covered.
He saw a hole in the ceiling, and he looked on the floor and saw some debris.
It made it so that the executive has more power than it did before.
They blew these places up in a major league way.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Hey, if you got weekend plans, make sure your home is ready for them. I called Wise Guys Pro Wash, and boom, the house, driveway, and patio were spotless. They even cleaned the roof. I didn't even have to be home. They are truly professionals using the top equipment in the industry, and their soft washing kept my home safe and damage-free, and the results, incredible. Wise Guys has more than 2,000 five-star reviews, and I know why now. So mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your next service. Book today at wiseguysprowash.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LIKE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LIKE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
It's not going away. That spot you're trying to ignore in the ceiling, yep, it was there last week. It was there last month, and it's only going to get worse. Hey, it's Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, for my experts at Finley Roofing, the roof guys. Everything you own and love lives under your roof, and it's long overdue to be replaced. So think of Finley first. Now that Finley has 0% financing available, it's even easier to stop procrastinating and get your roof replaced. Finley has installed over 65,000 roofs locally, including mine. They've mastered the roof replacement process with impeccable, high-quality work. Finley's seen it all and replaced it all. That's why Finley stands behind their work with a lifetime warranty on labor and materials at no additional cost. Nobody else does that. So now with 0% financing available, get started today with a Finley Roofing free roof analysis. FinleyRoofing.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, be very happy to have you. I have got to just tell you that I forgot to mention Rand Paul as another person who, I mean, you've got Rand Paul, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, Mitch McConnell, and Thom Tillis. Now, they're all nominally Republican in ways, some more than others, but the president can't bully them. They don't care. The result is he doesn't have leverage. Because he doesn't have leverage, they can grind his agenda to a halt. So he's got to be careful in dealing with the Senate. This also restricts what he can do with the Senate. And if it means he can only do things with executive order, well, good luck with that, because that'll all be undone by the next administration. All right, I just because of your name, I gotta go to you, Thor. Thor, welcome to the show. How are you?
Making a meal.
Thor?
Yes.
Welcome to the show, Thor. How are you?
All right.
What's going on?
I'm just curious whether there's a kickback mechanism for Medicaid and Social Security disability, because it seems my wife signed up for to get a job online, and we've gotten no end of calls wanting to see if she qualifies for Social Security disability.
Wow. To my knowledge, there is not in the legislation. There's not. But buried, it's a 1,000-page bill. There could be something. Although, so here's the thing. What I am finding actually is, and I actually ran into this because I was looking for health benefits for my employees, is that there are a number of businesses now out there that are specializing in hiring people who are already on Social Security disability and arranging their company in such a way that they rely on people with disability, so they pay less and other things, and they skirt under the table with a lot of stuff. And I gotta say, my spidey sense is going off. There's something not right there. But part of the problem with Obamacare too is that there are now a lot of companies where if your spouse also has a job and they can get health care benefits through their company, they're required to get health care benefits through their company instead of being on yours, even if your insurance is better. Obamacare screwed so much stuff up, and no one has wanted to acknowledge that part of the issue with Obamacare is it was designed to break the system, to push us to universal health care. And so much of what's happening in our healthcare industry right now with costs going up and stuff is all the logical fallout of Obamacare. There is some breaking news here. It's minor, but it's worth letting you know. This weekend in Glastonbury, the big music festival in Great Britain, a group called Bob Dylan, they stole Bob Dylan's name and changed it to Villain. They were standing on stage and chanting death to the Jews and shoot the IDF and blasting Israel. Marco Rubio has announced that he is canceling their visas. They were supposed to go on tour in the United States, and he has canceled their visas now. Also, their agency, United Artists, has dropped them from representation. Good. When we come back, we need to actually talk about the guy I said I don't care about, but everybody else seems to, the would-be mayor of New York City, who actually is a communist, and I'm going to prove it to you when we come back, and it's foreboding for the Democrats.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus that on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical. Medi-Share is family.
Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
What would you do with $1,000 this summer?
Hotel, pool, week at the beach, cabin in the woods.
Whatever you want to do this summer,
WSB has $1,000 to make it happen.
$1,000 Thursdays gives you the chance to win $1,000 every hour between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app within that hour.
You could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBradio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
95.5 WSB, where Atlanta wins.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This is new this half hour. The Justice Department announcing what it is calling the largest healthcare fraud takedown in history, and it does involve Georgia. The announcement made during a news conference where the speakers included Dr. Emmett Oz, administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
There's examples from telemed schemes in Florida with clinics billing for activities that they're not really, we don't believe, providing. There's a cardiology provider, and please help me understand this, who's providing cardiology services in person in Georgia and Nevada at the same time on the same day.
Over $14 billion in alleged fraud was billed to Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance programs. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, warm, and humid. An isolated pop-up shower is possible. Afternoon highs around 90, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Well, set to go into effect tomorrow, that 10% increase in DeKalb County's water and sewer rates in DeKalb is on hold for now.
DeKalb County is delaying the start date of the increase as the county finalizes its contract and partnership with the Urban League and completes materials that should help the public understand more about the rate hikes to come. The increases will support repairs and improvements to DeKalb County's aging water and sewer infrastructure. About 180,000 DeKalb County residents will see an average monthly increase of about $7. The county says it will announce when the increase will go into effect online. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
An 82-year-old woman has died weeks after a Colorado fire attack. Mohammed Solomon accused of injuring more than a dozen people after throwing a fire bottle at a crowd marching in support of Israeli hostages being held by Hamas. Karen Diamond died after suffering severe injuries in that June 1st attack. As a result of her death, prosecutors are now filing new first-degree murder charges against Solomon. He's also facing federal hate crime charges. The jury deliberating at the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial. Aaron Koturski is following.
This morning, final instructions and deliberations for the jury deciding whether Sean Combs, while making hip-hop mainstream, led a criminal conspiracy that trafficked women and transported prostitutes. 8 men and 4 women, ages 30 to 74, all with a college or advanced degree, heard more than 6 weeks of graphic, harrowing testimony about physical violence, degrading sex, and psychological trauma. Combs did not testify.
Now Combs faces a possible sentence of life in prison. It's 1:03.
At the Original Mattress Factory, we make mattress shopping easy. We offer our lowest and best price to everyone, every day, so you can shop when you're ready. We show you exactly what's inside of our mattresses so you can see and feel the quality for yourself to ensure you're getting the best value. And we offer a no-pressure shopping experience. Our team is here to help you find the best mattress for you. It's that easy. Visit an OMF location today to see the Original Mattress Factory difference for yourself.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you're thinking about selling your home this summer, now is the time. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home hassle-free and make the most money. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now, there's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
At Barlow Lexus of South Atlanta, they just don't sell cars. They set the standard of amazing. Enjoy personalized service, a Starbucks cafe, and airport parking concierge, because you deserve more than just a car. Visit BarlowLexusSouthAtlanta.com or call 800-NEW-LEXUS today, because they value you.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at the roads.
Had a stall on I-75 southbound right around Windy Hill Road, exit 260. He was able to get himself out of the left center lane to the left shoulder, but still seeing a few brake lights back toward North Marietta Parkway, but luckily no lanes are blocked there. If you're traveling on the south side, 75 northbound, some moderate volume in both directions between Stockbridge and McDonough. And we got that road work still in the right lane. Should be wrapping up soon in DeKalb, I-20 eastbound before Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today. A few pop-up storms possible. High near 90. Lows tonight in the low 70s. Tomorrow, widespread rain showers and thunderstorms through the morning and the afternoon. High 85. Drying out on Wednesday. Partly cloudy. High 89.
More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
America, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States of America. The phone number 877-973-7425 should you wish to be on the show. Listen, I feel a little hypocritical. I'm going to acknowledge that, because I really don't care about the mayor of New York City. And to a great deal of me, I kind of hope that if he wins, the city gets what he's offering good and hard. I think the Democrats need to feel his policies. Many of them will be unwilling to recognize it is his policies causing the problems, but some of them will. He calls himself a socialist, a democratic socialist, but it is very clear from his rhetoric that he actually is a communist. And too many people it's like Democrats say racist all the time, and so it kind of dilutes actually racism. And a lot of Republicans say communist all the time, and so it kind of dilutes what it means to be a communist. But what is a communist? Let's ask the internet. Communism is a political and economic ideology that aims to create a society where people collectively own the means of production. People collectively own the means of production. You got that? It is often associated with a socialist movement. Communism means that the state, the government, has taken over the means of production. Now, if you're a subscriber to the show notes, and by the way, if you text data to 33777, I'm doing the show notes myself this week. I'm not delegating it to Philip. He's out for the week. I put this video in. You will notice that PolitiFact says it's false to say that Mamdani, who calls himself a socialist, is a communist. I want you to listen to this. This is the would-be mayoral candidate the would-be mayor of New York City himself. This is not AI. This is a real video. Well,
project. It's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win some. Raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward. Which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect. And we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. There are also other issues that we firmly believe in, right? Or whether it is the end goal of seizing the means of production.
The end goal of seizing, now the video is unstable there, but you get the seizing the means of production right there. Our end goal is seizing the means of production. That is communism. That's definitionally, that's not Eric Erickson's opinion of communism. That's actually the definition of communism. Seizing the means of production is communism. The community collectively owning those things used to produce wealth. And this is the guy the Democrats have put up. And he has a very good chance of winning in New York City. Now, part of this you do have to understand is that the alternative was Andrew Cuomo, who killed everybody's grandmother and sexually harassed women. That was essentially how things broke down. But this guy is really radical. But it's just New York City. The problem here is that Democrats are increasingly mainlining this level of radicalism. It's not a coincidence, y'all, that in the 2024 election, Hispanic voters who had left socialist regimes in Central and South America voted overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. We've now done the deep dive of the voting from 2024. Pew has done it. PPP has done it. Other consortiums have done the deep dive. And Hispanic voters who fled socialist countries voted overwhelmingly for Republicans. Not just Donald Trump, but Republicans. It's a very big deal. And the Democrats are in this echo chamber with the media, and they don't seem to really care. I am personally a little offended by the massive coverage the guy is getting these guys because he's just the mayor of a city, but everybody treats New York City. In fact, I had somebody come after me the other day on social media, said, I don't really care. It's New York City. It doesn't affect me. They're like, oh, you should care because New York City is the American city. No, I think the American city is actually someplace like, I don't know, Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States, or Lexington or Concord, where the revolution started. It's just in New York City, the American city. No, it's not. Maybe for some people, but it's not for me. I would rather go to Chicago, which, by the way, is also run by a socialist mayor who's run it into the ground. And there's so much that this guy has been saying. And by the way, you should also note that progressives who want to cancel 20-year-olds for what they did 10 years ago as a 10-year-old on social media are now taking the position, oh, you can't hold this guy accountable. That was 3 years ago. It's interesting, the media rollout. And by the way, he also is doubling down on, he wants to tax white neighborhoods. He wants to tax white neighborhoods to pay for other things. So he wants to engage in racial discrimination through taxation. Some of his policies simply will not work. Some of his policies will be it will be very, very, very hard for him to implement legally, and he'll be able to rail against the system and say, I would do this, but for the racists on the Supreme Court. I do think the fact that the Democrats are trying to lie and dismiss his radicalism tells you just how radical he is. They're working overtime on this. But let's move beyond this guy. Because essentially, he's just representative of a growing number of Democrats in the country, particularly white progressive Democrats. He is a symptom of a larger problem in the Democratic Party, where they are embracing their own radicalism, and they're so focused on the radicalism of Donald Trump, they cannot embrace or recognize the level of radicalism that is poisoning the Democratic Party. And if anything, they're becoming part of that radicalism. In fact, there's a story out today that although Donald Trump only won 35% of the Jewish vote in the country, it's the largest vote share for Republicans from Jewish voters ever. It's the largest share of the vote for Republicans from Jews ever in 2024. And that was before this. That's a real problem, I think, and the Democrats can't bring themselves to recognize that they have a problem. Donnie Deutsch was on MSNBC. I think it was on Morning Joe. And I want you to listen to this because this guy is a Democrat. He's a Trump-hating Democrat on Morning Joe. He lives in New York City.
Look, there is nuance in what Mamdani is saying. I get it in that second answer where he says he doesn't want to get into the business of what language is permissible and what language is not permissible. But what did you make of his decision? And it clearly is a decision. He knew he could be asked about this. His decision on Meet the Press not to condemn the phrase.
I'm outraged that we have a candidate for mayor of New York, Mr. Mamdani, that cannot walk back or cannot condemn the words globalize the Intifada. And his nuance of, well, it means different things to different people. Let me tell you what it means to a Jew. It means violence. It means October 7th. It means firebombing people in Colorado. It means violence. That's the connotation. That's the essence of it. And that's what it means to Jewish people. And if any other group came forward and said, you know what, these words are offensive to us, it means violence, it frightens us, I think there'll be a response. But for some reason, if Jewish people find it offensive, it's not offensive. And I find it offensive that he cannot condemn those words. And I think he's overall running a campaign of divisiveness. He also came out in the last 2 days and said, we're going to tax rich white neighborhoods. Why do you have to put white in there? Just say we're going to tax the wealthy. I just find it offensive. I find it offensive that in the past he's talked about defunding the police. I think he's walked that back, but yet he voted $3 billion out of a police budget. And I just find there's a recklessness and a divisiveness to it. And I'm offended as a Jew that he can't walk that back.
And you know what, Donnie Deutsch? You don't matter to them. Jews do not matter to the Democratic Party because they've got the tiger by the tail now. They're afraid of what will happen to them if they let go. They've needed the energy of the radicals to sustain themselves. You know, it's very hard to keep your average American perpetually angry. It's very hard to keep Americans angry. If they get angry for too long, they burn out. But the radicals, it's a religious zeal. The anger is a religious zeal, and the Democrats have needed the anger of the radicals to keep everyone engaged and on the street. They've needed the radicals to sustain them over time. And in the process, the radicalism and the perpetual fight of the radicals has come to define a key portion of the Democratic base. And they can't now let go of that, or they will be consumed by the radicalism. Not in that they will be taken over by the radicalism, it's that it will destroy the Democratic Party. So Mamdani is just, he's a part of that. He's a part of that radicalism. He has risen out of that radicalism, that perpetual fighting, and he's not going to condemn it. He a man who has condemned the words of others now is like, I don't want to police people's words. When those words are globalize the Intifada. And the Democrats know they have a problem. Behind the scenes, they know they have a problem. But they can't do anything about it because these people will turn on them. These people will go after them in ways that will knock off their chances of winning anywhere. It's very, very interesting to see that the Democrats don't even seem to understand this. James Carville understands it. James Carville is raising big warning signs that this is a gift to the GOP. But how do they stop him? They got Eric Adams on the other side, Curtis Silva on the other side. Curtis Silva is the perennial candidate in New York, the Guardian Angels guy. He's had a radio show in New York. He's running for Republican. He's not getting out of the race. So how do you consolidate enough people behind Eric Adams who got challenged because he was too friendly to Trump? It wasn't just that Eric Adams was indicted and then pardoned by Trump. It was that Eric Adams was too willing to work with Trump on the issue of illegal immigration. The Democrats have boxed themselves in on radicalism. And on MSNBC, you got a bunch of leftists cheering him on. And in New York City, you got a bunch of young people cheering him on. And this is going to have spillover effects for the rest of the Democratic Party. Republicans for years have tried to tie Nancy Pelosi to the Democrats, the Pelosi Democrats, or Obama. It rarely works. But it's notable that despite the hagiography and the left-wing media for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she's one of the worst polling Democrats in America. Mamdani is going to be right up there with her. And again, the key data point is that in 2022 and 2024, Hispanic voters began shifting to the GOP on the issue of socialism. So I don't care about New York City, and if they elect this guy, I hope they get his policies good and hard and feel them. But he's indicative of a larger issue within the Democratic Party beyond him. This radicalism that's taking over the Democratic Party on the left that the media can't call out and the Democrats can't call out because they're all in this echo chamber with them, and they will get consumed by the tiger if they let go of the tail. It's going to devour them one way or the other, and Americans do not want to vote for a loose tiger on the wild. They're going to vote for someone to protect them from that tiger, which taking over the Democratic Party means a lot of Americans are going to shift further right, not just Hispanics and not just what we're seeing with Jewish voters.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Hero unit with this stall on the left shoulder in Marietta. Heads up for this. 75 South, Windy Hill Road, exit 260. A few brake lights there through Marietta. Downtown, seeing some volume. 75-85 southbound, 17th Street down to Cortlandt Street. And still got that right lane construction in DeKalb County heading toward Lithonia. 20 eastbound before Panola Road, exit 71. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership and join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
And thanks to this decision, we can now promptly file to proceed with numerous policies.
We've got it covered.
There are people elated all over the country.
Tune in often for the latest.
No longer will we have rogue judges striking down President Trump's policies.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
If you're thinking about selling your home this summer, now is the time. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home hassle-free and make the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain. The guaranteed offer for Mark Spain Real Estate's the easiest way to sell your home. Skip the hassle of costly repairs and sell your home stress-free. There's no showings, no open houses, and no waiting or wondering when your home's going to sell. Our guaranteed offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Summer is a lot of fun, but it can also be the most dangerous time on the roads. There's more construction, teen drivers, bikers, cyclists, and what we all despise, congestion. Hey, it's Smilin' Mark McKay. Summer wrecks happen a lot. If you've been hit, call my trusted team at John Foy & Associates, the Strong Arm. They specialize in personal injury law with a winning track record taking on big insurance companies. There is zero cost until they win your case. Call 24/7 for your free case evaluation. JohnFoy.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday
taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at select Aldi stores.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
A few years ago, my youngest son had something minor turned into something very major in a matter of hours.
It was Medi-Share that came through for us, and there was no hassles, there was no problem.
That's what's so wonderful about knowing that you're a part of such an incredible ministry.
Medi-Share is a biblical approach to healthcare where Christians share each other's medical expenses.
Medi-Share is a family, a group of people that stick with you through the hardest times of your life.
Medi-Share isn't insurance. It's a nonprofit ministry over 30 years old, and members have shared over $8 billion of each other's medical bills.
We don't have to spend so much on health insurance. You can focus on supporting other people.
Medi-Share is affordable.
Medi-Share is biblical.
Medi-Share is family. Join thousands of Christians who can help you save on your health care and support your family when you need it. Call 855-51-BIBLE, 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It's Eric Erickson here. There's an app. This app allows people to flag sightings of ICE agents. In fact, CNN is promoting this. It's called an ICE spotting app. The acting director, Todd Lyons of ICE, is advertising an app that basically paints a target on federal law enforcement officers' backs. It's sickening. My officers and agents are already facing a 500% increase in assaults, and going on live television to announce an app that lets anyone zero in on their locations is like inciting violence against them with a national megaphone. CNN is willfully endangering the lives of officers who put their lives on the line every day and enabling dangerous criminal aliens to evade U.S. law. He's not wrong. Yesterday, someone set a wildfire in Idaho and then laid in wait for firefighters to get there so the person could gun down the firefighters. We don't know why, clearly deranged person. But they targeted firefighters. Now you've got people alerting others to the presence of ICE agents as if it's the Gestapo. And that's part of the problem here, is that these people on the left have so embraced the idea that they're the heroes of the story, they're the protagonists, they're la resistance, that they're willing to treat law enforcement officers of the United States government as if they are evil monsters. And they're putting people's lives at risk with their increasing radicalism. It's a dangerous thing they're doing, dangerous. With the world seeming like it's coming unglued, the president, by the way, you should know, is out now yet again attacking Jerome Powell, who is refusing to reduce interest rates here. Swiss America has been warning people about a secret war on cash and all out assault on freedom. With these interest rates the way they are, with banks teetering right now, Swiss America can educate you on protecting your hard-earned assets. You can read their report, The Secret War on Cash. Your copy's free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The All-Out War on Cash includes digital forms of currency. It is growing. Read the Secret War on Cash report completely free. Just mention my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K. When you call or text 800-289-2646, all you have to do is text my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646, or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, E-R-I-C-K. Get the free report from Swiss America on the secret war on cash. You can go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric or text my name or call and mention my name to 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.
Coming up Tuesday on Atlanta's Morning News, Christina Edwards' 5-day forecast help you make those fireworks plans for the 4th. The traffic team will help you around any issues. And now Clark Howard says you can ensure you're paying the right price at the register. It all starts at 5 a.m. on 95.5 WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. In case you're just joining us, this is new this afternoon. Operation Gold Rush by the FBI is being called the largest healthcare fraud takedown in history, and it involves Georgia. One case involved a cardiology provider who is providing services in person here in Georgia and Nevada at the same time on the same day.
It's not just about financial losses. It's about patients being exposed to unnecessary procedures, false diagnoses, and delayed care.
Christopher Delgado of the FBI says over $14 billion in alleged fraud was billed to Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance programs. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, warm and humid, and isolated pop-up showers possible with a high around 90. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up in just a matter of minutes. That water rate increase that was set to go into effect tomorrow is being delayed. In a statement, the CEO, Lorraine Cochran Johnson, says delaying the water rate increase will give us time to finalize a partnership with the Urban League and ensure customers know about the resources available to assist them before these new rates take effect. The increases support repairs and improvements to DeKalb County's aging water and sewer infrastructure. A motorcyclist is killed in an accident today on I-85 north of Lindbergh Drive. The State Patrol says the driver of the motorcycle was following too closely behind a vehicle, and when that vehicle hit the brakes while merging onto 85, the motorcyclist slammed into the back of the car. The cyclist was thrown from the motorcycle and died at the scene. The name has not yet been released. And Costco's changing up the hours. The retail wholesaler will start opening an hour earlier at 9 a.m. for its upper-level members. Costco will also stay open an hour longer on Saturdays for all members. So that means they'll close at 7, and that will start this weekend. It's 1:32.
Trust is not just a word, it's an experience. When your home needs service, you can trust TE certified electrical, plumbing, heating, and cooling. It's Chris Chandler. TE is the company I trust to fix any problem once and for all. Their 5-star customer experience means easy online scheduling, friendly technicians, and a lifetime workmanship warranty, so I can just sit back and relax.
TE certified, we love your home.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
One of the biggest repairs on your biggest investment would be the foundation on your home. Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack. Other companies offer many different services and then try to upsell their customers something they don't even need. That's not what Atlanta Ramjack does. Foundation repair is all we do. We send only the most trained experts in the field and give you the best materials and an honest appraisal of what your real problem is, not more than what you need. Schedule your free estimate today at atlantaramjack.com.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Hero briefly held the left lane on I-75 southbound in Marietta around Windy Hill Road. Cleared that stall from the left shoulder, so delays improving there. If you're traveling 85 northbound out of Dorville into Norcross, it's a little slow from 285 up to Jimmy Carter Boulevard. And the right lane construction still there in Lithonia. I-20 eastbound approaching Panola Road, exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid, high near 90. An isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible later this afternoon.
All right, we'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Howdy, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, you should know we'll figure out names in North Carolina. In Georgia, Mike Collins, the congressman, is flirting with running for the U.S. Senate. Now, I thought he'd already declared because everyone tells me he is going to run. He has not yet. So you got Buddy Carter now in, John King, the state insurance commissioner, and you got Mike Collins coming in, the congressman in the middle part of the state. And then more names coming soon as well. So in Texas, you've got John Cornyn continuing to flag behind, just flail about behind Ken Paxton. The polling in Texas has Democrats ahead of Ken Paxton. If he wins, it could put Texas in play. I don't actually think it'll be put in play. I actually think Paxton has won statewide there, even with so much turmoil in the past. I don't see that he's going to lose, but it certainly will mean the GOP has to spend more money in Texas and North Carolina, even as Democrats are supposed to be on defense. But the radicalism of the Democrats is something beginning to help the GOP. And as much as there are problems for the GOP, I really genuinely believe that the radicalism of the Democrats is beginning to move people in a way that can help help the Republicans in November of next year. Now, again, events change things. It's a long time away. But this Jews for Trump thing. I've been trying to find a way to do a Jews for Jesus tie-in, and the only thing I can think is Jews for Cheeto Jesus, but then that offends Trump supporters. I don't really want to offend them as I'm kind of laughing about the plight of the Democrats, but it's Jews for Trump sort of thing. Let me read you this. I mentioned a little bit earlier, but this is from Josh Krashour. New data from Pew Research of the 2024 election confirms the shift in Jewish voters to Donald Trump last year. Analysis from Validated Voter Analysis, that is, they interviewed 35 to 40,000 voters who they know actually voted. Kamala Harris won 63% of the Jewish vote. You're thinking, my gosh, that's a massive number. But Donald Trump won 35%, and that's the largest share of the Jewish vote since 1988. Trump doesn't have to win a majority. The Republicans don't have to win a majority. They just got to do better than they did. Donald Trump won 27% against Joe Biden. He won 35% against Kamala Harris. And the trend across the board is a big shift to the right. And Jewish voters, now not all of them will, and here's the thing you got to understand. Evangelical voter, Catholic voter, Jewish voter, those terms used to mean religious identity. Those terms really are now ethnic identifiers more than religious identity. There are evangelical voters in the United States who they go to fishing on Sunday, not church. There are Catholic voters in the country who go to a non-denominational strip mall church service on Sundays occasionally. And there are Jewish voters in this country who give money to Students for Justice in Palestine. An evangelical voter in this country used to mean someone who was regularly in a Protestant, Bible-believing evangelical church. Now it's just, I'm a Southern white guy who believes in Jesus. I don't actually go to church, and I identify as an evangelical. Southern white people who say they believe in Jesus, evangelical. Descendant of an Italian or Irish family, probably going to go with Catholic, particularly if you're an Irish immigrant family descendant. You're going to go with Irish. Italian Catholic still goes with Italian. Irish Catholic now goes with Catholic. If you're a Jewish voter, your family is ethnically Jewish, but you couldn't care less about Israel. That's the problem with the terminology, is that a lot of the religious identifiers in our country have become ethnic identifiers now. But there are still a significant number of Jews in the United States that actually do care about their Jewish identity. And of those who do, an increasing number are moving to the GOP as the Democrats get surrounded by radicals. And those small demographic movements actually amount to big changes over time. I wrote a piece this weekend, maybe I'll get into it later. But one of the things that I wrote in the piece is about lying and lies and the lies we tell ourselves and others. And small lies over time tip the scale away from truth. The weight of small lies pile up over time and tip the weight of the scale away from truth. And that becomes a problem. And it becomes a problem for the Democrats when they keep telling themselves small lies, when they keep making themselves the protagonists in the story. I'm going to say something, it's a little controversial, and I know coming out of the gate it's a little controversial because I've said it before and gotten a lot of heat for saying it, but it really does need to say. I really do need to say this. I need you to hear this. Some of you, you're about to be offended by me. What I'm about to say, I don't mean to offend anyone. But I know because of what I'm about to say, someone's going to be offended. The Nazis, they didn't get up in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror and say, it's good to be the bad guy. We're the bad guys here. The Nazis didn't do that. They thought they were the protagonists of the story. Democrats, they get up in the morning and they look at the GOP and they say, there are the Nazis. We're not the Nazis. They're the Nazis. We're the good guys. We're the heroes of the story. The ICE agents are the bad guys. We're going to go take on the ICE agents. We're going to fight Donald Trump. They're not looking at themselves as the bad guy. The Nazis didn't look at themselves as the bad guy. No bad guy ever gets up unless you're named Dr. Evil and looks in the mirror and says, I'm the bad guy and it's great to be the bad guy. The bad guys always think they're good guys. And oftentimes, because history is written by the winners, had the Nazis won World War II, we would today be speaking German and learning that the Nazis were the good guys. That's the way history can work sometimes. The Democrats are increasingly filled with a bunch of people who see themselves as the protagonists of the story. They have become emotional, not reasonable. They look at themselves in the mirror and they say, we're the good guys. We're on the side of righteousness. History bends towards us. The arc of history bends towards the Democrats. That's what they tell themselves. That's what Barack Obama literally told them, that the arc of history bit in their direction. And they believe it. They believe it. And what about it? What are they doing? Well, they've elevated illegal immigrants over American citizens. They have used their friends in the media to discount stories of immigrant violence in the country, like the Trinidad in Aurora, Colorado, dismissive of news reports that they had taken over this apartment complex and people feared for their lives. No, it's not true. It's just a couple apartments. And then suddenly a big news story that they've taken over this apartment complex. There's a shootout and the feds are having to move in to deal with them. They're on the side of the illegal immigrants. The American citizens who are in law enforcement are the bad guys. They're on the side of Hamas. Their mayoral candidate in New York refuses to condemn the phrase globalize the intifada. He suddenly doesn't want to police language. But you call a boy when the boy identifies as a girl, he sure as heck's going to police your language. Part of the insidiousness of what's going on with the postmodern left now is that they're trying to change language to change reality. So this actually is, I might as well bring this up. I wrote a piece this weekend. I wasn't expecting to get the reaction from it that I got. The Dispatch, of which I'm a founding subscriber, that they've hired Jessica Riedel to be a contributing writer on tax policy. In and of itself, not a huge issue, except Riedel transitioned. Jessica Riedel, was Brian Riedel. He had or has a wife. He has kids. He has transitioned to become a woman. And I see guys like David French, who used to write that I'm not going to use someone's pronouns. I'm going to use right pronouns because truth matters. Now referring to Jessica Riedel as a she instead of a he. And this is the dangerous ground the postmodern left has pushed us to. Now, look, I recognize in theory, it's very easy when you don't know a single transgender person to say, I never use that person's preferred pronouns. It's very easy in theory to say it, but it can actually be hard when you want to preserve a relationship or just peace in the office to actually use he pronouns for this guy who now claims he's a woman and uses she pronouns. I get that. I understand, but this is where the left comes in. Jonah Goldberg in his book Liberal Fascism, the parallel between the Reformation of American universities in the 1960s and what occurred in Nazi Germany runs even deeper. Deconstruction is a direct and unapologetic offshoot of Heidegger's brand of existentialism, which not only was receptive to Nazism but helped foster it. Heidegger was the great inheritor of Nietzsche's assault on truth and morality, which held that we make our own truth and decide our own morality. For Heidegger and Nietzsche alike, good and evil were childish notions. What matters is will and choice. Self-assertion was the highest value. Choices were worthwhile only if they were authentic choices, heedless of conventional morality. This was the ethos of Nazism that Heidegger wholeheartedly embraced and never forthrightly renounced, even decades after the extent of the Holocaust and other Nazi crimes was known. The Nazi critique of Western civilization was total. In his infamous rectoral address, Heidegger looked forward to the time, hastened by Hitler's efforts, when the spiritual strength of the West failed and its joints crack, when the moribund semblance of culture caves in and drags all forces into confusion and lets them suffocate in madness. That's kind of where the left is at. They're not looking at themselves as that, but I'm sorry, when you're reporting where ICE agents are, and we know that's going to lead to violence. When you're harassing Jews and refusing to denounce anti-Semitism, when you're arresting Christians for praying outside abortion clinics, you can raise all of the but Trump is bad, and the problem here is that all the people who say but Trump is bad never want to acknowledge the problems on their own side. They try to find excuses for their own side, and the bad guys always try to find excuses for their bad side. And I'm telling you guys, the Democrats are not your enemy, although so many of you wish to believe they're your enemy. They're the opposition. But Democrats, I have to tell you that when you're not willing to police your own side, the worst elements of your side will take over. And too many of you are so busy saying, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump. You're not looking at the problems within your own party, and you will become people's enemy because of it. And right now, Jewish voters are the second group within the Democratic coalition to begin to flee to the right because the Democratic Party is being taken over by people hostile to their values. It was Hispanics, and now it's Jews, and it's starting to also be black voters. And the Democrats, they can't even recognize it. It's good for Donald Trump and the GOP, and probably helps neutralize Democratic efforts in the midterm elections in 2026, unless things change. Now, let me tell you about Vision Computer. If you need a computer, they can build you a computer, and I would love for you to use Vision Computers. They're a great company. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE, visioncomputers.com. They'll build you the computer, and then you get their 5-star customer service, and you don't have to take my word for it. You don't have to take my word for it. You go to Google, you put in Vision Computers, you can see the thousands of 5-star reviews. You get a special number when you get a computer from Vision Computers, and you can call them, and in 15 seconds or less, get the answer to what ails your computer. 15 seconds or less, you get the answer. Not only that, but if you just want their customer service for your existing computer, you can get that for $199 a year per computer. Your whole office can get in on this so that instead of having an in-house IT guy, Vision Computers takes care of things for you. All you got to do is go to visioncomputers.com or call them at 404-COMPUTE. Anyone in the nation can take advantage of this. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. I would love for you to do business with Vision Computers. My family, we've got one of their computers. The tech support really is as good as I'm telling you. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. Tell them I sent you. You'll save even more money.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
151 Cool-Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Seeing some brake lights fill in through Dorville into Tucker on 285 east and southbound. Getting past I-85 Spaghetti Junction and Chamblee-Tucker Road. Also getting a little bit slower into downtown southbound from the 85-400 merge. Making your way south toward Cortlandt Street. And if you're traveling on the south side, 75 northbound, a little sluggish out of McDonough from Highway 155 up toward Jodico Road. Traffic brought to you by Sam's Club. Ready for some locked-in summer value at Sam's Club till July 22nd. Prices are held on over 1,000 items, including summer must-haves like ice cream. Sign up for a membership or join at samsclub.com/join. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks in Georgia.
A meteor traveling at a speed of 30,000 miles an hour.
Across the U.S.
They're probably going to have to decide the issue of birthright citizenship.
And around the world.
Israel claims Iran fired missiles after the truce began.
We've got it covered.
I had a resident who described what sounded like a gunshot coming through his house.
It's not a partisan issue. Democratic presidents don't like these things either.
There are conflicting assessments about just how badly damaged these facilities are.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain just not getting any better? Are you stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now they're talking surgery? Before you go down that road, hit pause for a second. Hey, it's Mark Airman. I want to tell you about something that helped a lot of people get their lives back without more meds and without going under the knife. It's QC Kinetics, leaders in regenerative medicine using treatments like advanced cellular therapy and platelet-rich plasma, all designed to actually help your body heal itself. No more masking the pain. This goes right to the root of the problem. Their cellular treatments contain growth factors and healing properties to maximize your own body's ability to heal itself. And this is critical. 92% of patients report satisfaction with the results. That's not just a number. It's peace of mind that you're exploring something that's truly working for people just like you. Real results to let you move easier and live better. Call QC Kinetics today, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. When you have plumbing problems, you need it done quickly and on your schedule. Superior Plumbing will work around your schedule night and day. They've served Atlanta for almost 40 years. They want to be your plumber for life, and they'll earn your trust by doing the work correctly the first time. So do what I did and call Superior Plumbing night or day to have a trusted plumber fix your plumbing issues.
Superior, the honest one. Call 770-422-PLUM.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals All Care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
I love my home, and now I found a company that loves it as much as I do. TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Chris Chandler here. These folks have done work in my home. Boy, it didn't take long to realize I could trust their expertise, their attention to detail, and what I think you'll find, just as I did, an amazing level of service. TE Certified has more than 20,000 five-star reviews, and it's been serving Atlanta for decades.
TE Certified, we love your home.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. Sorry, had my microphone on mute because I was sneezing and didn't realize I forgot to take it off. 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. The WNBA is announcing 3 new teams: Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia. And no one will go to those games. It's just I gotta say, it's wild to me when you have Caitlin Collins, who literally, I mean, these other players, Angel Reese and others can say, people are already watching them. We actually can see the data, and I don't know that they know we can see the data, but we can see the data, and we can tell that actually no one it was watching the WNBA, and no one watches the WNBA now unless Caitlin Collins is playing. And she has a rising tide lifts all ships, and she's been the rising tide to lift the ships and boost the revenue. And yet they treat her so terribly and violently and viciously, and with a lot of racism. It's just it's remarkable to me to watch this. I just the WNBA just deserves to fail. And I'm not a big NBA player. I watched some of the playoff games in the finals. I was actually very intrigued having Oklahoma City, God bless you, and Indianapolis in the finals. And to watch, I watched the final game where Oklahoma City won. It was a compelling game, I think. I'm just not a big basketball fan. And I'm not a basketball fan just because it's not my favorite sport. Now, I say that, my mom's going to text me. I'm sure. My dad was a basketball coach. My dad and my sisters have always loved basketball. I was never really much of an athlete anyway. I was very much the nerd. As I've gotten older, I enjoy watching football, but I've just never enjoyed watching basketball. And it's gotten worse these days because everybody just wants to throw three-pointers over everybody else's heads, and it's not really a team sport anymore. It's just, and the ratings reflect that. But also the politics of the NBA and now the WNBA. They've got fundamental problems as a sport. Their ratings are down, their viewership is down, attendance is down. It's just the insufferability and smugness of, I think, some of the star players, and it's just not as fun a sport to watch when there's not a lot of teamsmanship out there. It's just people trying to throw three-pointers from across the court. But the WNBA is just, they are just biting the hand that feeds them. When we come back, speaking of biting the hand that feeds you, Democrats are now super unpatriotic. I've got the data.
Only inches separate you from the heavy rain pounding on your roof. Dave Baker, host of the Home Fix-It Show, here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Water is your home's #1 enemy, and your roof is your front line of defense to stop it from getting inside. Has your old roof finally lost the battle against all this recent heavy rain? If water has made its way into your home, think of Findlay first. They've replaced over 65,000 roofs locally, all with high-quality work, upfront pricing, and exceptional service. You'll always win with Findlay. You'll never have to worry about them cutting corners. With over 30 years of experience, Findlay goes the distance. They're the extra effort experts, making sure you have a remarkable roof experience. Are you seeing water inside or just not sure how well your roof is holding up after all this recent rain? Schedule a free roof analysis. No obligation, no charge. FindlayRoofing.com.
You can count on it.
You can try and plan for it.
But sometimes it gets the best of you.
Stalled Big Rig 275 southbound the outer loop at 166.
When it stops you from getting where you need to be.
Atlanta's most trusted traffic team gets you there.
Here you slow just east of Georgia 400.
Atlanta's most up-to-date traffic reports from local and trustworthy people.
Every time you listen. Triple Team Traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. The FBI's Operation Gold Rush is the largest healthcare fraud takedown in history, and it involves Georgia.
In all, criminal charges were filed against 324 defendants, including 96 doctors, nurse practitioners, pharmacists, and other licensed medical professionals. One case involved a cardiology provider who was providing services in person here in Georgia and Nevada at the same time on the same day. Christopher Delgado with the FBI pointing out,
it's not just about financial losses. It's about patients being exposed to unnecessary procedures, false diagnoses, and delayed care.
Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
88 degrees in Atlanta. Pop-up storms beginning to show up now on Storm Tracker radar, and more widespread rain tomorrow. Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. Happening now, the demolition of the old Atlanta Medical Center begins this hour.
The site is set to be turned into a mixed-use development area with housing, retail, and green space. However, some residents are concerned about the lack of medical services replacing the old hospital. Old Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association President Tom Boyle tells WSB something like that would be ideal.
The whole idea behind it is going to be mixed use, and we as neighbors certainly would love to see a medical component in there.
He says the high-level plans in place for the area are encouraging and is optimistic about what the completed project will look like. Michelle Wright, 95.5 WSB.
DeKalb County residents are getting a reprieve from higher water and sewer bills. The day before increased rates were supposed to take effect, the county announces it's delaying the 10% price hike. It was supposed to start July 1st. The delay comes as the county negotiates a partnership with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta and prepare their public education efforts on the new billing rates. A new warning from the Postal Service: if you get a package you don't order.
This is a gift you don't want.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard says it's a scam known as brushing. Someone sends you a gift and they just want a positive review. The Postal Service says if you get one of these packages, your personal information may have already been exposed. Do not scan any QR code, change your passwords, and do not interact with the sender. Happening now, jury deliberations underway in the Sean Diddy Combs racketeering and sex trafficking trial. Combs facing charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He could go to life for prison if he's convicted. It is now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Summer is here, so if you're thinking about selling your home, now is the time. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can sell your home quickly and for maximum value. Hi, it's Chris Chandler. You can skip all the hassles of a traditional home sale and sell your home quickly without the stress of showings, open houses, or costly repairs. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed all-cash offer allows you to sell your home in as little as 21 days and move when you're ready. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
What you walk on in your home should be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Michael, proud founder of Authentic Hardwood Flooring. Your summer vacation is going to be awesome, but coming home to those floors won't be. While you're gone, let our highly trained installers transform your space. Just imagine coming home to beautiful new floors. Our promise is to make your flooring process painless. Our focus is to make it perfect.
Authentic Hardwood Flooring offers high-quality craftsmanship with an exceptional customer experience. AuthenticHardwoodFlooring.com.
Your friends at Steel Horse Law are motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They've mastered safely riding our Georgia roads, and they've mastered the unexpected twists and turns of Georgia law. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, the Stein and Karen Law Group. With all the changes in Georgia law, you need the most experienced local motorcycle injury law firm to protect your rights. You can trust them on the road and in the courtroom. Get a free case evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good afternoon, Bill. Got new trouble in Stockbridge. This is I-75 southbound below the 675 merge approaching Hudson Bridge Road exit 224. That's a crash blocking the left lane, slowing the ride from Highway 138. All lanes blocked and reopened downtown, 75-85 northbound just before I-20 exit 247. Hero cleared some debris out of the roadway there. And watching brake lights southbound through Marietta in the right lane, 75 south from the South Loop down to I-285 right there next to Truist Park. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Epwards. Partly cloudy, hot and humid, high near 90. An isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm possible later this afternoon.
And Storm Tracker radar shows some rain right now in South Fulton County. It's 87 in Sugar Hill, 85 in Dallas, also 85 in Hampton. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
I got to admit, you sometimes wonder, is anybody listening? It's a holiday week. It's a short week. Is anybody out there listening? Well, I said Caitlin Collins instead of Caitlin Clark. You should have seen the phones light up and the amount of emails and text messages. And everybody always thinks I will text him because no one else will. And then you get flooded with a bajillion text messages, direct messages, emails, phone calls. Clark, I apologize to the universe and all who were offended. Caitlin Clark, not Caitlin Collins. Caitlin Clark in WNBA. Caitlin Collins at CNN. I apologize to everyone. I am so sorry. I will never, ever, ever do it again, except I know me. I will do it again. It's only a matter of time. But thank you to the bajillion of you who called, texted, direct message, private messaged, emailed. Wow. That was a lot of people. All right. At least you're all listening. I mean, that is the upside here. At least people are listening. Now we must talk about patriotism. American pride slips to a new low. Now, I got to say, ironically, this comes on the last day of Pride Month. There wasn't a lot of pride this month. I saw fewer rainbow flags than I've seen in years. There's actually a big story today about how corporations have cut back on it. Turns out a lot of Americans were kind of offended by just how zealous so many companies were to rush out pride stuff and champion pride for the month. Well, now Gallup is out, and this is really time for the 4th of July, not really for Pride Month. A record low, 58% of U.S. adults say they are extremely or very proud to be an American, down 9 percentage points from last year. and 5 points below the prior low from 2020. The 41% who are extremely proud is not statistically different from prior lows of 38% in 22 and 39% in 23, indicating most of the change this year is attributable to a decline in the percentage who are very proud. These findings come from a June 2nd and 19th Gallup poll conducted before the June 21st U.S. military action in Iran. It is unknown whether Americans' national pride has been affected by that action. It tends to go up. In addition to the 58% of U.S. adults who are extremely or very proud, 19% say they're moderately proud, 11% only a little proud, 9% not proud at all. The combined 20% on the lower end of the pride scale essentially ties the record 21% measured in 2020. Until 2018, less than 10% of Americans had consistently said they had little or no national pride. In January of 2001, when Gallup first asked Americans how proud they were, 87% said they were extremely proud. After the 9/11 attacks, the figure increased to 90% and held that way through 2004. You know who's not proud? Democrats. Democrats are mostly responsible. 36% say they are extremely or very proud, down from 62% a year ago. It's only the second time Democrat pride has fallen below majority level, along with 42% in 2020, the last year of the Trump administration, around the time of the George Floyd situation. Political independence pride has reached a new low, 53%, expressing a great deal of pride, down 7 points. Republican levels of national pride has been much steadier, typically registering above 90%. It was 85% in 2024 and 92% this year. The only years in which fewer than 9 in 10 Republicans were proud was 2016 and 2020 through 2024. But of all but 2020 were when a Democrat was in office. And still, Republicans at like an 85% or higher threshold say they're proud of the country regardless of who is in politics. Younger generations are less proud than older generations. I don't have permission to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because I know him well enough to know he's not going to mind. A friend of mine who works in politics sent this to a group chat. I want to read this for you. Working in politics gives you a unique perspective on things. It's a perpetual backstage pass to how the world really works, from presidential addresses to municipal sewer systems. When you work with the people who make the rules, you see how the rules get made. The old adage is true. It is like making sausage, but sometimes when you're behind those curtains, you see other things too. The thing that made this Commonwealth, he's writing from Virginia, run for more than 400 years in this country, a shining city on a hill for 250 years, it isn't our soil. God knows it's not our blood. It's a choice. Americans are different. Our heritage begins at Runnymede, where a collection of barons told the king that he was going to change some things or else. It grew when Parliament beheaded a monarch in the name of the rule of law. It screamed defiance here in Richmond that we would have liberty or we would have death. It looked at the face of slavery just 80 years later and said, no, the cost of that rising paid in rivers of blood. When hurricanes and tornadoes come, we plant the flag and rise up. When killers come to our shores, we bury our head, wipe our tears, and bring justice to their doorstep. Americans will grab a fire hose and help save a neighbor's house. They'll run towards danger, badge or no badge. They'll respond to the call of the oppressed around the world. Not always, not flawlessly, not by all, but always enough. None of that is automatic. It's a choice. It is ingrained in our heritage, but still made by every American every day. We choose to rise. Maybe I'm terribly naive, sitting here safely between two vast oceans with friends to the south and allies to the north. Maybe we're all still green, having been here for a scant 250 years with not yet 1 million dead to war. with our worst tragedies barely registering in terms of other nations' body counts. Yet I can't help but think there's something unique about this people, a mishmash of mutts from all over the world with different dialects and customs, faiths and creeds. We're here because we chose to be here. When we're challenged, we rise because we choose to rise. And those among us who have trouble are, more often than not, lifted up by those around them. That's American exceptionalism. Looking at the deepest dark of night and whispering, joy comes in the morning. A culture that, at its core, holds that resurrection, even if not of the body or soul, but of the spirit of the nation, it is the rule, not the exception. It's in our refusal. The defiant whisper, the stubborn rebuilding. It's in the choice to rise every time we're knocked down. American exceptionalism isn't a birthright, it's a choice. Someday we might break. We might lose the habit of standing back up. We might forget Runnymede in Yorktown and Ground Zero in Helene. We might become Russians with better tans and bourbon instead of vodka. But I don't think we will. Because deep in the American soul, when challenged, we don't bow. We rise. We rise because we're too damn stupid to stop and too stubborn to quit. And we say, as we always have, no, you won't. We will. Can't actually read you the last line there. But I think he's right. Rich Lowry has one time said, it's one of the few things I disagree with Rich on. Rich, by the way, has a great piece in National Review today that we should tear down the ugly buildings in Washington, D.C., and he's right. But Rich has said one time that, every nation thinks they're the best nation. And it's just what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to think that your nation is the best nation if you're a patriot. And I got to tell you, I don't think that's right at all, because I've traveled the world. I've still been to more states than countries. I've seen the other nations. There are no other nations where people are dying to get to them, to be called them, and yet people want to come here and become Americans. Your patriotism should not be tied to who is in office. Your patriotism should not be about your political side's power. I've spent way more time than I wanted to today on the problems of the Democratic Party, the radicalism of the Democratic Party. But one of the big issues is that a lot of Democrats now, they view politics as a means to an end. They view politics as the means by which they can improve America. And I need you, if you're a Republican, to just understand this. Don't argue with me trying to prove you know better than me, because you don't really on this particular issue. And you're just trying to not cede a point. Just cede the point. Democrats believe that their vision of things will make this country better. You and I disagree with them. We think it'll make it worse. We think it'll make it not America. But you and I also know, as conservatives, as Republicans, as independents, we make the country better in our own backyard with our own sweat and our own volunteerism. Democrats have so become the party of government, they think they have to control government and get their agenda done in order to make the country better, that the country can't just be made better by you and me. They think that's naive thinking. And so if they don't control the country, their view of the country and their patriotism declines. And that's a problem for the Democrats, who have been led astray on the idea that government is the be-all, end-all of power, when you yourself have the power to go out today and improve your community. Go pick up trash on the side of the road. Seriously, go pick up trash on the side of the road. It'll immediately improve the area. People will notice you have just improved your community. Go work a local soup kitchen. You don't need Uncle Sam. You don't need to control power. You don't need to be in charge in Washington to go work at the local soup kitchen. And for the Democratic screws, but they don't have as much money because the Republicans are in charge. They cut the money. Write a check. Put it on yourself, not on your country. And that's where the Democrats and Republicans disagree. It's the Democrats believe they need power to improve the country. They need political power to improve the country, and then also that it should be the country doing it, not ourselves. And that's part of the illegitimacy of democratic thinking, I think, is that they think that you've got to have the government do the stuff, not you yourself. There's a group near me up in Atlanta that for a long time they were making sandwiches for, there are a lot of kids during the summer who don't get school lunch. A lot of poor kids do need food programs during the summer. And there was a group of activists in Atlanta who got together and they started with companies making food. And so companies would volunteer and people would bring bag lunches from home. They would bring them to their company. The volunteer network would come by, pick up the food and pass them out. And you know what? Good progressives got it shut down by the government. Why? Food sanitation. Progressives want everything to work through government. It is government that keeps you safe, not yourself. And so when Democrats take that on, when progressives within the Democratic Party take that on, they can't find joy in life. They can't find patriotism in the country when they're not in charge. We really are the greatest country. I don't say it because I'm an American. I say it because I've been to the other ones. We are the best. Being an American means something around the world. We are different from everyone else. There is American exceptionalism. We do rise up when others sit down. We do turn into the fight instead of running from it. And yeah, we could lose that all. But there still remains something woven within the fabric of the country. And it's just sad to me that Democrats can't appreciate it unless they're in charge of it. And it's encouraging to me that even when they're not in charge of it, 85 to 90% of Republicans still maintain their patriotism. We are the best country, period.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
220 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Crash now in two left lanes, 75 southbound in Stockbridge below the I-675 merge. You're slow just before Highway 138. No need for an alternate just yet, but if delays get worse, think about Highway 42 or the express lanes as alternate routes. Traveling downtown, you're seeing the brake lights fill in. 85 southbound approaching 17th Street. Stay sluggish on 75, 85 south as you make the drive down to I-20. Traffic brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop sweet savings at Whole Foods Market. Get organic red cherries for $4.49 per pound with Prime through July 1st while supplies last. Shop in store or online. Terms apply. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
You're by the pool.
You're relaxing.
You're sipping a drink.
Someone brings you a towel.
Adjust the umbrella.
Sound like a fantasy?
It's not if you win $1,000 from WSB.
It's WSB's $1,000 Thursdays this Thursday.
Listen for the keyword at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. and 12, 1, 2, and 3 p.m.
Enter the keyword at WSBRadio.com or the WSB app within that hour, and you could win $1,000. Get all the info at WSBRadio.com.
$1,000 Thursdays
from 95.5 WSB,
where Atlanta wins.
Well, I bet it is safe to say you are sick and tired of home services companies that don't show up on time, don't get it right, ghost you then when you need them later. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. I don't have to worry about any of that because I only trust TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. TE Certified is a well-oiled machine with the highest level of communication and follow-up. They're on time, friendly, and fully stocked.
TE Certified, we love your home. It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon, you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
You'll be one smart cookie when you try Bluebell Cookie Cake Ice Cream. A sweet cream ice cream loaded with chocolate chip cookie cake pieces and swirls of chocolate and vanilla icing. This cookie cake ice cream really takes the cake.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Marketplace Grocery in Danielsville and Freshway Market in Social Circle.
Belinda Skelton here with Atlanta Vision Institute's very own Dr. Ashraf, who is one of the most experienced eye surgeons in the country. Dr. Ashraf, we've all watched the news and the economy is uncertain, but failing eyesight isn't. And if you've held back due to finances, we've got good news for you, don't we?
Yes, Belinda, as you know, our eyesights degrade as we age. And with the laser optics procedure, that resets all of that. And most of my patients go most of the day without glasses. They can even read their phone without glasses. And in terms of the economy, most of these patients, their medical insurance can cover most of the costs. And if it doesn't, we have a lot of good financing options for this procedure.
That's awesome, Dr. Ashraf. I urge you to take the quiz to see if you're a candidate. Go to 2020atlanta.com. That's 2020atlanta.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. People often ask me why our mattresses last so long. The answer is simple. We build them right. Not only are OMF mattresses durable, they give you peace of mind from day one. When you invest in a mattress from OMF, you're investing in better sleep tonight and smart savings for years to come. No more frequent replacements, no more wasted time shopping. To learn more about the true value of durability, visit originalmattress.com and read our latest blog on getting the most from your mattress investment.
Mosquito bites are the worst, right? But did you know mosquitoes are disgusting little germ factories that can carry viruses that can be harmful to your family and pets? Dave Baker here for the local family-owned company that I trust to protect my home, Breda Pest Management. It's time to quit your itching, be the superhero for your family, and eliminate mosquito-borne viruses in your yard with one call to Breda. Every Breda technician is licensed, providing the knowledge and ongoing training to properly and safely knock down those bloodthirsty, virus-carrying mosquitoes immediately. And if mosquitoes return within 30 days, only Breda will come back and retreat your yard at no additional cost. Nobody is better at protecting your family from mosquito-borne viruses. Breda, they handle bugs and critters. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Hello, America. Welcome. Glad to have you with me. There is some unfortunate breaking news that I have to share with you. One of the victims of the man in Boulder, Colorado, 82-year-old Karen Diamond has died. She has succumbed to her severe injuries, according to the Boulder County District Attorney's Office. Muhammad Solomon is facing upgraded charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, according to prosecutors, in this attack where he decided with a homemade flamethrower to burn up the Jews who were standing in memory of the hostages in Gaza. It's just heartbreaking. 82-year-old has died because of the injuries. It's just these things just keep happening in the country. This guy did this in Colorado. We had the guy in Washington, D.C., who murdered the 2 Israeli embassy employees. Had all the protesters in Washington, D.C., in New York, the anti-Semites, and now you've got a guy running for mayor of New York City who refuses to condemn calls to globalize the Intifada. He has praised Hamas in the past. He stood next to his imam cheering on Hamas. There is just a real evil stirring in the world right now. There's a real evil stirring. And the left is so focused on those bad things in the Democrat on the Republican Party side, they just can't even hold themselves or their constituents accountable. They make excuses for it. It's bad. It is a bad thing to see. It is a bad thing to witness. And it's just disappointing to me that friends of mine who are Democrats are so insistent on, well, you must condemn Donald Trump. I criticize Donald Trump enough. I get hate mail from his supporters all the time. but I have yet to see any of them willing to take on the anti-Semites on the left. They keep making excuses for it. But Trump does not get you very far. And now an elderly Jewish lady from Colorado, from Boulder, Colorado, has died because of another anti-Semitic attack in this country. It's just sad. Guys, I've told you about Old Glory Bank before. They are my bank. They're founded by real deal patriots like Ben Carson, Larry Elder, and John Rich. They built an FDIC-insured bank. It backs the Constitution. It stands unapologetically for the country. And now they're doing even more for those who served. Old Glory Bank's premium checking. It's the great checking accounts you've heard me talk about. You can, if you're a veteran, your monthly maintenance fee is waived. So here's the thing. This is their top account. I don't even have one of these. I got the basic checking account. But these are interest-bearing accounts, and they normally have a fee, and if you're a veteran, they're going to waive the monthly fee. So it's solid banking. It respects your service. It honors your sacrifice. No woke nonsense, no corporate virtue signaling, just a bank that values what you value. If you've served the country, this is an account for you. Go to oldglorybank.com/salute today. oldglorybank.com/salute. And you can take advantage of their premium checking without a monthly fee. Old Glory Bank is banking for patriots. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
When you need to know.
This story is developing in Atlanta.
When you want to know.
Severe weather is on its way.
When you have to know.
We'll alert you as soon as this closure clears.
Get notifications
from your source for news.
Get the WSB Radio app.
Download it from your app store today. Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A woman injured in the Colorado firebombing attack earlier this month has died.
The suspect, Mohammed Solomon, threw Molotov cocktails at the protesters in the park as he shouted, "Free Palestine." 82-year-old Karen Diamond was among the demonstrators. She has now died from the injuries she suffered in the attack.
CBS's Stacey Lynn reports Solomon now will face a murder charge. He's already facing 12 counts of federal hate crimes. The FBI's Operation Gold Rush is the largest healthcare fraud takedown in history, and it involves Georgia.
324 defendants were charged criminally, including 96 licensed medical professionals.
Christopher Delgado of the FBI says over $14 billion in alleged fraud was billed to Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance programs. In one case involving a cardiology provider who's providing services in person in Georgia and Nevada at the same time on the same day. It's the end of an era as the demolition of the old Atlanta Medical Center begins this afternoon. Tom Boyle, president of the Old Fourth Ward, says he looks forward to the development of the space.
It has been a long time coming. And we're excited for the plans, which were co-developed with a lot of neighbors and businesses.
The site will be turned into a mixed-use development, and that will include housing, retail, and green space. Home Depot announces an agreement to acquire a specialty building products distributor. The Atlanta-based home improvement giant says one of its subsidiaries will buy GMS Inc., which is a leading distributor of everything from drywall to steel framing. It's a $4.3 billion deal. It is now 2:32.
Summer is peak hosting season, right? Don't let a grimy house keep you from having company over. It's Chris Chandler, and Wise Guys Pro Wash got my place clean and bright and guest ready in just one day. They handle everything, house and deck, driveway, even my dirty roof, and their soft wash kept everything safe. No paint peel, no damage, just clean. If you got people coming over this summer, be sure Wise Guys Pro Wash comes by first. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off at wiseguysprowash.com. Book now before they fill up.
The guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate is the easiest way to sell your home. Now you can save time and make the most money and eliminate all hassles this summer. Hey, Sean Hannity, Mark Spain Real Estate can sell your home with the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and help you move on your timeline. With over 67,000 satisfied clients, you can trust the most experienced real estate team in the U.S. to sell your home fast. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
What is All Care? All Care is expert urgent care and primary care under a single roof, offering convenience and continuity for your healthcare needs. All Care is a team of physicians and clinicians who know you and your medical history, so they can provide the personalized care you deserve. And with both family and immediate care services offered 7 days a week, All Care means seeing your doctor on your schedule. 15 convenient locations, same-day appointments, and walk-ins welcome. Remember, urgent care plus primary care equals all care. Learn more at allcare-ga.com.
Yeah, about 12, 13 years ago, I remember sitting in the house watching TV when I noticed that one of the walls looked different. It was a darker shade than the rest of the walls. Upon further investigation, it was soft and wet to the touch. You know, not having any plumbing in that area, there's only one real explanation. My roof was leaking.
Dave Baker for Finley Roofing, the roof guys.
So I needed a new roof. Like any major repair for my house, I checked out a bunch of companies. Only one company passed all my criteria, though, Finley Roofing. The roof guys. Finley Roofing was the perfect match when it came to getting a new roof. Turned out they really are the extra effort experts. They treated my home like it was their own, tearing off the old shingles, installing new ones. They were neat and cleaned everything up, and I didn't pay anything until the job was complete. Right now, Finley is offering upfront pricing, 0% financing, and a free roof analysis. When it comes to roofing issues, think of Finley first. See them on the web at finleyroofing.com.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Better news in Stockbridge. That left lane crash has cleared to the right shoulder, 75 southbound, just below I-675. Now looking for trouble on the backup, 75 southbound around Highway 138. We're going to see if that's just leftover volume or anything's holding up the ride there. Elsewhere, if you are traveling I-20 eastbound heading toward Lithonia, better news there in DeKalb County. That right lane construction is cleared before Penola Road exit 71. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
And Storm Tracker radar showing a few pop-up showers now beginning to develop. Some rain right now in South Fulton moving into Clayton County. It is 88 in Snellville, 86 in Ackworth, 84 in Fairburn. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Filtered takes on politics, culture, and faith. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. There's a must-read piece, and I missed it for the show notes at the Free Press, thefp.com. Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who's converted to Christianity, Glastonbury and the Purge of the Jews. The subtitle, "The strategy is brilliant in its simplicity. Paint Israel as the nexus of evil, then paint every Jew who doesn't renounce it as complicit, force them to choose dignity or safety." In other words, they're embracing "you will be made to care" as a philosophy. I wanted to call your attention to that, but also, if you text data to 33777, you would have gotten the show notes today, and there actually is a very interesting nugget in the story. Democrats are crying uncle, maybe aunt, over transgender rights. This is from Mariana Gonzalez at Notice. The Democratic Party has typically used Supreme Court rulings as galvanizing moments for its base, using favorable and unfavorable decisions alike to rally supporters around the country. But that has not happened in the aftermath of the U.S. versus Skrmetti ruling, which declared that bans on gender-affirming care for transgender minors are constitutional. The ruling will likely now be a precedent for bans on transgender care more broadly. National Democrats, who have long been the party to push alphabet gang rights forward, have been grappling with how to handle issues around transgender people since the 2024 election, when, by their own admission, they were caught flat-footed on the topic as President Trump and Republicans made opposition to trans rights a key part of their campaigns. The Dobbs decision, which struck down Roe v. Wade and uses similar language to the Skrmetti opinion to leave abortion up to the people and their elected representatives, prompted Democrats to hold press events, hearings, and rallies in support of abortion and women's rights. Those issues were a key part of their election messaging, and the party continues to highlight Republican restrictions on abortion. The same cannot be said for transgender rights. Representative Julie Johnson, co-chair of the Congressional Equality Caucus, said she believes the court should have had a different decision because I believe that health care should be the role of the parent. But when asked if the Skrmetti decision should push Democrats to rally more around the trans community, she said, "The Supreme Court has ruled we're a party that supports the rule of law. As it stands right now, what the justices are saying is states that choose to ban trans-affirming health care for minors have the right to do that, and states that choose to affirm health care opportunities for trans youth have the right to do that. So it's pretty much kick the can to say it's a states' rights issue." A February Gallup survey found that 56% of Americans believe that health providers should be banned from providing care related to gender transitions for minors. Now, one of the big arguments in favor of transgenderism, and by the way, you should know today the Supreme Court, without dissent, by the way, 0 dissent, vacated a Fourth Circuit ruling that required health care plans to cover transition surgeries, vacated a Ninth Circuit ruling that barred Idaho from banning Medicare funding for transition surgeries, and vacated a 10th Circuit ruling that would have forced Oklahoma to change birth certificates to reflect gender identity. So 3 more losses for the trans movement today in the Supreme Court with 0 dissent. Very notable. What's also notable is a study that was covered in The Atlantic. And the fact that it's The Atlantic matters because The Atlantic is a really progressive publication these days. And The Atlantic has been pretty vocal in support of transgender rights. Allow children to transition or they will kill themselves. For more than a decade, this has been the strongest argument in favor of youth gender medicine, a scenario so awful that it stifled any doubts or questions about puberty blockers and cross hormones. We often ask parents, would you rather have a dead son than a live daughter? Joanna Olson Kennedy of Children's Hospital of Atlanta, or of Los Angeles, rather, Children's Hospital Los Angeles, once explained to ABC News. Variations on the phrase crop up in innumerable media articles and public statements by influencers, activists, and LGBTQ groups. The same idea that the choice is transition or death appeared in the arguments made by Elizabeth Proliger of the Biden administration, the Solicitor General, before the Supreme Court last year. Texas's law prohibiting the use of puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones to treat minors with gender dysphoria would, she said, increase the risk of suicide. But here is a huge problem with this emotive formulation. It's not true. When Justice Samuel Alito challenged the ACLU lawyer Chase Strangio on such claims during oral arguments, Strangio made a startling admission. He concluded that there is no evidence to support the idea that medical transition reduces adolescent suicide rates. At first, Strangio dodged the question, saying that research showed that blockers and hormones reduce depression, anxiety, and suicidality, that is, suicidal thoughts. Even that is debated according to reviews of the research literature. But when Alito referenced a systematic review conducted for the Cass report in England, Strangio conceded the point. There is no evidence in the studies that this treatment reduces completed suicide, she said. And the reason for that is completed suicide, thankfully and admittedly, is rare. And we're talking about a very small population of individuals with studies that don't necessarily have completed suicides within them. It was still an obfuscation because the studies actually don't say that. In fact, there's another study that was cited by a guy named Brian Riedel, I mentioned earlier, who has transitioned. And he claimed that there are studies that show the brains of transgender people can identify people who are transitioned. It turns out that the transgender brain studies are fatally flawed as well. This is from City Journal. Earlier this week, City Journal published the tragic story of Yarden Silveira, a young detransitioner, someone who pursued hormonal and or surgical sex change procedures, but then seeks to reverse course, whose life ended abruptly after suffering severe complications from a gender-related genital surgery. What led Yarden to adopt a transgender identity in the first place? In 2014, after encountering the growing wave of post-trans narratives in popular culture, Yarden told his family that he believed he had a female brain. Though initially uncertain, his mother was ultimately convinced by scientific papers that suggested that her son could have a female brain trapped in a male body, and that this mismatch caused him unimaginable distress. A trans woman such as myself was born with a male body, but she has always had her female brain. Literally born with a female brain, Yarden wrote in 2016. The belief was widespread back then, and it still is. On January 31st, Wisconsin Public Radio featured an interview with a mother, Carrie, concerned about President Trump's new executive order banning federally funded medical and surgical sex change procedures for minors. Carrie spoke about her daughter, who identified as transgender at 15 and was allowed to medically transition. She said those hormones really helped match his brain with his body, which to me, that's just the basic level of care we can provide individuals that identify as trans. The power of this narrative is persuading people to pursue or to allow their children to pursue irreversible medical procedures cannot be overstated. But the notion that males can have female brains and vice versa rests on a flawed interpretation of brain sex studies that in no way demonstrate or even suggest a definitive biological basis for gender identity. Little effort has been made to correct the assertion. The theory is advanced for relatively straightforward reasons. Civil rights lawyers, activists, and researchers contend that people who identify as transgender possess a brain-sex misalignment with their physical body, thereby establishing a biological basis for gender identity akin to immutable traits like race. This framing carries significant legal weight. A U.S. civil rights law offers strong protections for characteristics considered innate or rooted in biology. It turns out not only is it not true, but it's based on really bad misreadings of scientific literature. Current research purporting to validate the cross-sex brain hypothesis is an inconsistent or complete lack of control for individual sexual orientation. The research doesn't actually match. And in fact, more and more research is showing the initial research was mischaracterized and wrong. This is in City Journal, which is a conservative publication, but it echoes The Atlantic as well. And the point of The Atlantic, in fact, let me read you now the title of the piece at The Atlantic. The Liberal Misinformation Bubble About Youth Gender Medicine. How the Left Ended Up Disbelieving the Science by Helen Lewis. The science shows that there is not an increase in suicidal rate if a child who claims to be trans is denied medicine. That's what the science actually shows. And it's The Atlantic pointed that out. It's not me. It's not conservative commentator Eric Erickson. It's liberal The Atlantic. Not only that, the science also shows that there's no such thing as a man with a woman's brain. That gets me back to Brian Riedel, who has transitioned to Jessica Riedel, who claimed that brain scans justified his transitioning. The punchline is that Brian Riedel, now Jessica Riedel, works for or worked at the Manhattan Institute, which is the publisher of City Journal, which is publishing the piece noting that the transgender brain studies are fatally flawed, the ones that Riedel cited for his transition. Can we just say what's going on here is there are a lot of people suffering from mental health issues, and they don't want to admit they've got mental health issues, so they want to normalize it. A lot of people with mental health issues. The argument is somehow that the XY chromosomes, as a body develops, somehow say, nah, not the brain. We're going to not develop the brain. We're going to let the XX chromosomes develop the brain, even though we're XY. It's never made any sense. And it turns out scientists were raising red flags about these studies, and they were censored to advance an agenda. There are so many people who say expertise broke down over COVID. We can't trust the experts because of COVID. I actually think transgender science is the precursor. It started before COVID. People twisting science and the data to build a narrative that was never true. What's so notable about it is that when you've got the Atlantic, the New York Times, and Democratic politicians now suddenly saying, we're going to follow the rule of law, it's really hard to overstate how the trans community set itself back. It got too aggressive and too dishonest. It was too willing to twist the truth. And frankly, it wasn't willing to advocate compassion for people with mental health. It's trying to normalize something that's not normal, something that everybody knows isn't normal. And they tried to not only insist it, but then what's telling is how many Democrats were willing to pretend it was normal. Gertrude Himmelfarb, great philosopher, gave a speech to the American Enterprise Institute a number of years ago. She wrote, the combined effect of defining deviancy up and defining deviancy down has been to normalize and legitimize what was once regarded as abnormal and illegitimate, and conversely, to denigrate and discredit what was once normal and respectable. The process, too, has occurred with startling rapidity. One might expect that attitudes and values would lag behind the reality that people would continue to pay lip service to the moral principles they were brought up with, even while violating those principles in practice. What is startling about the 1960s sexual revolution is how revolutionary it was in sensibility as well as reality. In 1965, 69% of American women and 65% of American men aged 30 said premarital sex was always or almost always wrong. In 1972, less than a decade later, those figures plummeted to 24% and 21%. This in 7 short years. Thus it is that language, sensibility, and social policy conspire together to redefine deviancy. If you look for truth, C.S. Lewis wrote, you might find comfort in the end. If you look for comfort, you will find neither comfort nor truth. Only soft soap and wishful thinking to begin, and in the end, despair. The Democrats are reaching the despair part. They hitched their wagon to a movement they thought could get them voters, and instead the public has rejected it, and now even mainstream liberal publications are having to say, y'all went too far. The great walk back has begun. Now, Americans for Prosperity wants to get you involved in conservative fights around the country. At the local, the state, and the federal level, they would love to have you engaged, and you can be engaged by going to AmericansForProsperity.org and signing up with AFP, becoming part of their army of activists. They just had 300,000 people make contact with their senators about President Trump's tax bill, weighing in on it. They'd love to get you as well to do that. In fact, if you go to ProtectProsperity.com, you can get engaged on the president's tax bill. You can call your member of Congress. Whether you're for it or against it, you'll be able to call your member of Congress. Americans for Prosperity understands it's not a great bill, but it's better than tax increases. They're willing to help get it done and see if they can fix it with the second reconciliation later this year. They'd love to get you involved in at least ensuring that taxes don't go up next year. All you do is go to ProtectProsperity.com, ProtectProsperity.com. It's brought to you by Americans for Prosperity. They would love to have you engaged. ProtectProsperity.com. They're the largest leading grassroots group in the country, and they would love for you to be on their side. Now, if you do that, ProtectProsperity.com, you'll be able to call your member of Congress today and get engaged.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
251 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory over on the west side perimeter. 2 separate crashes on both 285 north and southbound. The inner and outer loops between Martin Luther King Jr. Drive and Cascade Road. 2 left lanes are blocked in both directions. Go ahead and use 75. 85 as an alternate. New crash in the Palmetto area in Coweta County. 85 northbound Collinsworth Road, exit 56. That's in a few left lanes. And getting slower downtown southbound from the 85-400 merge into Midtown and downtown. Traffic brought to you by the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. The 2025 FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Get ready for a global soccer showdown at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Don't just watch history, be there. Get tickets at FIFA.com/tickets. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
When news breaks.
In a 6-3 decision, the court has limited individual judges' power on nationwide injunctions.
We've got it covered.
It has huge implications, not just for birthright citizenship, but for every other executive order.
Tune in often for the latest.
Under this president and future presidents.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home?
I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where AquaGuard comes in, a Groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at aquaguard.net/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Men, are you having problems performing in the bedroom? Do pills like Viagra and Cialis leave you feeling frustrated? Well, now, there's new hope for men who suffer from PE and ED problems. Meet Dr. Katz, a specialist in men's health.
Hey guys, I'm Dr. Katz with Choice Men's Health. Regardless of your age or medical condition, Choice Men's Health can safely restore your sexual potency. Our customized solutions can eliminate your problem in just one visit. There's no pain, no surgery, and it's affordable.
Guys, don't let the anxiety over your performance get you down. We can get you back in the game. Call Choice Men's Health today to find out how you can eliminate ED on the very first visit. Call 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
When it comes to defending down bikers' rights, trust is everything and results matter. Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler for Steel Horse Law, local motorcycle injury attorneys who ride. They specialize in protecting bikers who've been hurt. The mega firms will send an investigator or a paralegal, not a lawyer. With Steel Horse Law, you'll meet directly with your own attorney to get you back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Schedule your free accident evaluation at steelhorselaw.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Now.
Greetings, conversationalists. I love having you with me today. It is, you and I will be here this week. I hope some of you are working this week. Gas prices are expected to fall even further. It's going to be the cheapest summer since 2021. I mentioned this briefly the other day, but now we've got more data that suggests now with a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, with the continued opening of the Straits of Hormuz, and with the American companies in the United States producing more oil than expected, gas prices are expected to come down. They've gone down 10 more cents a gallon as people hit the roads this summer. You know, so my team has got, Fisher and I are here this week. Philip's out. His wife had a baby boy this morning. Charlie is gone. His family's gone to Montana. They were supposed to go Friday evening to no. They were supposed to go Friday morning at 6 a.m. Saturday morning at 6 a.m. The storms in Atlanta were so bad on Friday night that had a cascading effect. Delta had to cancel tons and tons of flights. Over 100 planes had to be inspected for hail damage. They did not leave until this morning at 6 a.m. For their family vacation in Montana. They were put off 2 days because of the mess in Atlanta. I was actually on a really nice golf course, Peachtree Golf Club, which is the other Bobby Jones course, and the lightning alarm went off, and we had to stop playing golf because the rain was that bad. But so many people traveling, people were really worried about gas prices going up because it's going to be record-breaking travel season. But there's so much oil out there now being produced that gas prices are actually down, which is also good for the economy. And there's a growing consensus out there that guys like me who really thought the tariffs were going to be bad have been offset by lower energy prices, and so we're not going to see a big explosion. However, stay tuned for the Federal Reserve numbers that'll be coming out in a couple of weeks. I think next week we get the actual data. We'll see. I'll be back tomorrow because I'm working this week with the rest of you.
WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
What you don't know can hurt you. What I'm referring to here is how's your credit doing? What's your credit score?